you're watching X-Men Omni with Justin and John. And their good friend, Hank. Hell yeah.
It's great having Bobby bring us on for these final few episodes. Yeah, this is Omni X-Men. Me breaking down the Omni X-Men, the classic Uncanny X-Men books by Chris Claremont with my friend Justin from No Good Comics.
Hey, yo, I love Bobby's hell yeah. Love him,
Yeah,
man.
he's living the life there.
It's a great one.
So this is the show where we are working our way. We're on volume 4 of the Claremont run of Uncanny X-Men. We're down to the last 2 shows tonight. And then Justin is hosting the finale next week where guest will be Sove Collector. And that's it. These are your last few chances to get on the raffle wheel. These are the last few chances to enjoy this season before we get the big giveaway show that's coming up in 2 weeks' time here on this channel. So all the links are down below. All the people you want to subscribe to, even our artist of the season here. We got Thony Silas himself, who we've commissioned a piece from. We paid for it, paid the shipping. You tell him what you want him to make. You win the prize if you're on that wheel, and you get that. Your lucky name comes up at the end when we spin that wheel. So
that's right.
Stick around to the end. We're going to ask trivia. We're going to get a chance for everybody to get entries onto that wheel and have a good time.
Definitely a good time.
Yeah. Tonight we're doing a giant size episode. We're doing a double issue storyline, lots to do, giant a slideshow that I've got prepared for this tonight, and that meant we needed to get a real X-Men fan in here to deal with all of this himself,
the expert,
the bearded comic bro.
Heyo. I'm so excited to talk about A Court of Thorns and Roses with you guys.
Yes,
I am reading that right now.
Oh, wrong show. Sorry.
That's all right.
I'm ready either way. I'm ready either way.
I don't even know if I
well,
still
hold
have
on.
that background.
Justin, what team are you?
No.
Wait, I'm not that far.
He's not far enough in to have a team yet, I don't think.
I'm halfway through the first book.
There it is. Akatar, yay!
2 seconds into having me on, I derail your show.
Total derail.
I wouldn't have invited you if I didn't know what I was getting in for.
That's right.
So.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Greg, the Bearded Comic Bro. His channel is linked down below. His Instagram is also linked down below.
Yeah.
The guy's been doing some great creator interviews. The Kelly Thompson interview, I know I geeked out on a ton because I've just been into her stuff the last few years. Fantastic. He just did one with Patton Oswalt. Big time interview. Really so cool. If you're missing out on the Bearded Comic Bro goodness, time to rectify that. Time to solve that problem right now. And the link is ready for you down there. So definitely make that happen.
Heck yeah.
Let's say hello to the friends. We got, like I mentioned, Michael, next week's guest, finale guest, save the best for last. Greg's like, that's hurting my feelings. Glad to see you in the chat, Michael. Good to see you, sir. We got Las Cruces from New Mexico. What is going on, sir?
Hey.
You know what, John? It's hard to recover from this. It's not.
Yeah,
a little heartbreak, a little hangover, a lot of things going on, a lot of emotions. We got Magic Lasso himself. What's going on, Ryan? Even though there was a Canadian guest star tonight, I am not disappointed. Diana Ross, Rachel Dinner's in the chat. Lots of goodies. We got Candace Barbosa. What's going on, Candace, our friend in the chat? Hope things are going well for you. I did survive, just barely. Jackson Roy Kirk, and thank you for being here for it. We got Paul, the Big O. What is going on, Paul? Still got to do Mist and Fury. Oh, there you go. I'm on book 3. I'm about 6 chapters into book 3.
Okay, I'm not too far behind you then.
Okay, good. They got Greg to read X-Men. Was this a Batman crossover I didn't know about?
Exactly.
Could be. We're your friends here for that. If you missed it, Greg and I did a live stream all about book 1. You can check in and see how deep we dove into this that universe, and we are preparing a volume 2. So just buckle yourselves up.
Nice.
William Bird, sorry, one last person. He said, I missed most of this Omni's episodes, but I had to catch this one. These 2 are the gems of the collection. Ooh, there you go. He's a big fan. Well said. Book 2 is my favorite. Book 3 is solid. All right, there it is. All right. So as I mentioned, we will be doing trivia at the end. So stick around. We're going to be asking questions about last week's show, the annual number 8 we did over on Justin's channel that we suffered you all through. We will get back to discussing some of that goodness. But first, let's get to know Greg a little bit. Greg, I got some lightning round, quick questions, X-Men related, adjacent.
Perfect.
Greg, he's a big Batman fan. So I tried to do some Batman related questions. Okay. I'm going to start off by having you burn a few bridges here.
Perfect.
Who has a better animated show?
Who has a better animated show, Batman or X-Men? Hands down, Batman. Here's the deal. I will say
here we go.
I'm not the biggest X-Men fan. Like
Sure.
I that's been told. I thoroughly have fond memories of watching X-Men the animated series with my brother, and that soundtrack, that theme song, it hits. But the rewatchability of Batman the animated series, I would put higher up, even if you're not a Batman fan, than the rewatchability of X-Men. But X-Men 97, I'm halfway through, and it's been fantastic. So
you're only halfway through. Oh man, you got
bro. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm reading and doing everything. I have to base myself on my life.
We just made him read 80 pages, John. So you know,
yeah, it's like a 55-page slideshow. So just be ready. Yeah. No, honestly, I agree. Even as an X-Men fan, Batman the animated series is peak.
Yep.
Oh crap! And I froze. Oh, did I
No,
freeze?
you're good.
I'm frozen.
You're
Half
good.
frozen. All right.
Good.
Batman or X-Men? Who has the cooler jet? The Blackbird or the Batwing?
Let's just keep the bridge burning going. The Batwing is unique. It's stylish. Like, listen, again, Lego just put out a dope set with the Blackbird. Like, it looks good. I would get it if I was a little bigger of an X-Men fan. But I mean, the Batwing, it flies up and it's silhouetted in the moon, and you have the bat signal. Come on, you can't do that with the Blackbird.
It's fair.
It's true.
It's fair. We got Bobby in the chat. Salute to you, sir.
And Bobby,
thank you for coming, Bobby, man. Rob Boswell's in the chat. Who are these handsome men? I don't know.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Not usually the case on my channel. Chad Knight in the chat. What's going on? He says, I'm a Batman fan. It's debatable.
John agreed with me. So
on the animated series, I do absolutely agree.
See?
All right. Let's see. Who is the better comic book filmmaker? Bryan Singer or Joel Schumacher?
I don't know.
Because I know you and I have some love for Joel Schumacher. He only made 2, and Brian made 5. He had 1 DC and 4 X-Men movies.
So are we saying who's the better comic book filmmaker?
Most people put them both on like rocky ground, right? They have their highs, their lows, like what's going on.
Here's the deal. I don't know if I can praise Bryan Singer for anything right now in this day and age. So I do love the original X-Men movies. X-Men and X2. I can't tell you the last time I watched the third X-Men, so I can't say. What were the other 2 that he did?
He didn't do the third one. He did Apocalypse and he did Days of Future Past.
Okay. So what else? You said he did 5. What's the other one then?
Superman Returns.
Oh yeah, with Brandon Roth. How did I forget about that one? Kevin Spacey. Ooh, gosh, this is a here. Listen, just because I like the library better, I'm gonna go with Joel Schumacher.
There it is. And you know what? I think they're on equal footing. Like I don't necessarily feel like there's like one that really outbeats the other. But I don't know, Justin, if you feel different.
Nope. I just love that you guys are struggling with this right now.
All right. If we took Zack Snyder's crew of Justice League members, the 6 Justice League members he's got, Aquaman, Cyborg, Wonder Woman, Flash, Batman, Superman, you were going to take out 3 and replace them with 3 mutants. Who are you replacing and who do you get?
Okay. And it's in the... So am I replacing them with just a mutant, or am I replacing it with a mutant from a movie, since you said Zack Snyder's Justice
No,
League?
I just meant those 6, because it's a clear crew, right? Comic book wise.
Okay. Batman's staying in.
Of course.
Hands down. You know what? I'll keep Superman in. And let's keep, and I'm adding 3. I'm keeping 3 and adding 3.
Correct.
Okay. Let's do this. I'm gonna take out Wonder Woman because I'm gonna add Storm.
Oh, okay. I'll accept that. That's fair.
I'm gonna leave an Aquaman. So there we go. I'll leave.
Okay.
I got because I'm still too stuck on the Zack Snyder stuff in my mind. So like I'm sticking with Batman.
Blonde. You want blonde-haired Aquaman?
I don't want blonde-haired Aquaman.
Oh, you
I
want
want Jason
Momoa.
Momoa. Jason Momoa is a sexy man. Like so, I'll take it. Yep. Sorry, Magic.
You've lost a friend.
I get it.
Friend. It's gone.
Brutal.
I'm replacing it with Storm. I'm replacing her with Storm. And let's add in, because I know nothing else, I'm going to add in Nightcrawler.
Nice.
And then I'm going to add in my favorite X-Men. He will not bring much to the table, and he will not take away much from replacing it. But I'm going to take Gambit.
Nice.
Oh,
okay.
All right.
So
Remember the name. Remember it.
That's my Justice League.
I like it.
Nice.
I like it. But we've lost Ryan.
I almost kept the Trinity, but I felt like the Trinity was going to be too easy of an answer to say I'm keeping the Trinity.
Changing it up a little.
I mean, I would have, but I mean, I get it. I like that you tried to go a little bit edgy.
I just want to be a little edgy. That's what you brought me on for. So, I mean, yeah.
Right. Does Batman need his own danger room?
I mean, it would help with his prep time. It would. I mean, could you imagine Batman putting in scenarios in his danger room? Like, listen, that's how he figures out how we'll stick with the Zack Snyder train. That's how he figured out how to set up the whole stage with Dawn of Justice, like where he can, boom.
Right.
I'm there. So, yeah, he needs it. He needs it. It'll help with his prep time.
There you go. You're a big movie guy. Storm is a character who doesn't have a lot of pop culture knowledge. If you're going to sit down with her and watch one movie, what's the movie you sit down and be like, you got to see this?
With Storm.
Yes.
What movie would I make her watch with me? Okay. Hold up. I don't want to answer
a question I think a lot about in my
I don't
life.
want to answer too fast.
Like, okay, date night with Storm. Picking the girl out. What do I do to win her over? I need ideas.
So this is a date night with her. You're changing the scenario.
I mean, like,
is this date night or am I giving her movie knowledge? There's a difference in the play.
No. It's a movie knowledge.
What is Greg's goal here?
What is Greg's goal in this game?
He's a happily married man.
I am. So if I'm going to show Storm a movie, let's you know what? I'll show her. No, I don't want Harry Met Sally. That's too easy.
It's too rom-com-y.
Yeah. Gosh, that's a good question.
This is going to be such a long show.
You brought this onto yourself. These are rapid fire questions.
I really went out of my way to make this more complicated.
These are rapid fire questions. You know what?
Rapid
the completely just jumping the shark person for me here is I want to say Catwoman just because it's very tongue-in-cheek there, but that's not the answer. The answer would be Memento. I would love to see what Storm's thoughts are on Memento and the whole process of it. So
Bleeker's in the chat. He says he'd pick True Romance. It's always the movie he watches, I guess.
Okay.
I would have Storm watch all of One Piece, like the entire One Piece thing. That'd be
of course you would.
Because then, I mean, it's thousands of episodes, thousands of hours. So you just get to hang out with Storm for a very long time.
I mean, you're not wrong.
That's the strategy.
But it's also not a movie.
Details, Greg.
Don't get hung up on stuff.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, Greg, your family's got a connection to wrestling. Which mutant would be the best wrestler?
So you're talking about like real, I don't even want to say real wrestling. So like collegiate wrestling or professional wrestling?
Collegiate, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yes, my family does, and it's just me because that's what I did. Who would be the best wrestler? Man, I'm gonna go with Colossus. You put him in the heavyweight division. He seems agile enough that he can get in on a double leg on somebody, and I mean it's
over.
it's over. Like as long as he now does he weigh more because of his like how his skin changes? Like will he be able to make heavyweight?
I mean, that's not fair. If nobody's gonna be in the same class that way.
Right.
He's got to fight like Hulk or something.
So like, I mean, but like if like it's just like him as a person, like I'll take him out of his like in his human form. Let's say
human form.
Yeah,
okay. He's still
solid as a brick. So I'm taking Colossus.
Good pick. That's a good pick. Yeah. Let's see. If you had a chance to interview for your creative interviews, you've done some great X-Men art writers. Like, is there a comic X-Men creator you would love to interview?
Yeah, I have done a lot of some of the newer X-Men writers. I think my answer would be Jim Lee because I feel like there's enough that we could cross over on. I'm not like because I could prep. I've read a lot of the Jim Lee X-Men, and I feel like I could have a basic knowledge there, and then we could segue into some of the stuff I love as well of Batman and things like that. So,
nice. Sure. All right. Oh, I hope I'm not freezing up. I feel like I'm freezing up, but
a little bit.
Last question: which mutant would make the best Robin?
Ooh. Great question.
Great question. Well, according to Marvel and DC, I think they kind of put Jubilee as the X-Men of Robin because Jubilee fought Robin in the amalgam Marvel vs. DC comic series.
She does have a Carrie Kelly vibe too.
She has that Carrie Kelly vibe. So you know what? Let's just stick with that.
Nice.
And Jackson Roy, like that's exactly what I'd say. I love your X-Men work, but let's talk about Batman. And
there it is.
So
what more do you need? Right.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's dive into this. We're talking about X-Men and Alpha Flight. It's a 2-issue miniseries, and we got a lot of story, a lot of things going on here, going back to December and January of '85, and we got these covers. Justin, I'm going to jump through to this first cover here. What are your thoughts on cover A?
Yeah, so I'm digging the wraparound for both of these, and for cover A, it's just pure epicness. I mean, everything from you got evil Loki in the corner raising a lot of questions with we don't even know technically. I mean, we could guess that it was like a Jean Grey of some sort in the middle, but what's with everything that's going on, then you got Alpha Flight team, like you just got everybody kind of colliding at once, and Cyclops is on fire.
Right.
Some people,
your floating head Loki.
Like I think this just tells a great epic story that I, for one, would definitely sign up to want to read right off the shelf. So I think it's really well done. And yeah, especially as a wraparound cover, specifically this first one here. I mean, I would buy it all day. So I'm a fan. I am a fan.
Greg, what about you? You saw this cover. Were you like, I don't know anybody on this book? What the heck?
Ding, 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 ding. I was like, I kind of make out Wolverine there, and that's the Colossus.
See the Colossus.
I knew no one else. Hashtag not my Loki. Like,
right.
Like, I was like, who is this? What am I reading? Like, so, I mean, yeah, it's a cool cover. I have no idea what it is and who's on it for the most part. So I would definitely be like, pass by it.
This is me reading Justice League International.
I mean, it's such a good. I'm looking at Justice League International cover right now, but yeah, I'm like, I don't know. So,
what's up, Adam? Thanks for coming by.
Got Bigfoot on there, and
yeah, yeah, we got the Yeti,
right?
Yep. Well, let's dive into it. This 2-part story is called The Gift. We have the return of X-Men artist Paul Smith, popular from the 3rd Omni X-Men series that we did, and now he's back to do this 2-part story. We jump into the cockpit of a plane, flying along. We got Scott and his new bride piloting a group of I would say educated gentlemen and ladies studying all sorts of different areas, and then they're flying them through somewhat dangerous skies. There's a storm coming. We got lightning flashing, and some scary weather ahead. Justin, what are your thoughts here on this splash page? And we're jumping right into Cyclops' world again.
Yeah, I first I genuinely had just some some hope here that somehow that Storm was back and she got her powers somehow. And
she's on a boat, not on a plane. Come on.
Yeah, I know. I was just like, oh, maybe this is I don't know what's happening, but maybe she's okay again and she's got her powers. But yeah, really cool opening scene, just that splash page. Very simple with the blue clouds and everything. As we get into it, and then what was it? The cargo scene, like just seeing all this kind of reminded me of Castaway, like right in the beginning. The FedEx cargo ship that he's on, and just like, nothing's really comfortable per se, but they're all just kind of chilling there waiting to get wherever they got to go. And yeah, he's with like, what I think they called him an environmental survey team of some sort, a bunch of brains on their way to Alaska or whatever. And then bright light comes through and everybody's blinded. So Madeline Pryor not in good shape here.
No. And now Bearded, obviously Cyclops, but that's pretty much it in this crew here. What are your thoughts on the artwork you're getting here at the beginning and the way they're trying to introduce you to what's going on?
The art's good. I'm not gonna lie, I got really excited because it's not shown on your page here. Or wait, no, is it? Yeah. That first little panel there, you see the calm yourself, Sherry, right there. I was like, oh, my boy Gambit's on this plane. Let's go.
No, he's not. He hasn't been introduced yet.
I wouldn't even know that.
He's a 90s guy.
So thoroughly just got disappointed right off the bat because once I hear that, I read it. I read that in Gambit's voice when I heard that. And it appeared to be a female protagonist in this that was saying that anyways. Mm-hmm. And so now the rest of the comic, whenever she spoke, I read it in the 1992 animated series Gambit voice. And
oh my God.
So that was a fun read for me.
So already disappointing Greg, and we're barely beginning.
Yeah.
First couple pages.
The art's great. I love the art that you got. There's it's captivating and things like that. I'm hopping in here going, I'm not reading any of the other series. I just found out right here on the show that Storm's not around right now. I mean, I knew that from reading the comic, but I would have had no idea that I was going to read an X-Men comic without Storm in it. Sure. Also losing points off the bat there. So like,
I get that. But as far as following it, you're able to follow this bit right here.
Yeah, I'm able to follow this bit to a part, but I mean, again, I only know the character of Cyclops in this first 5 pages. I have no idea who anyone else, and I don't know if anyone else knows.
Honestly, we don't know any of those.
Okay,
guys.
Yeah, I didn't.
No, we didn't either.
Except for obviously his new wife. Obviously, we know her.
Yeah, I didn't know he has a new wife. See, these are things
you've seen the first 5 episodes of X-Men 97. That's Maddie right there. That's the clone, the Jean Grey clone twin.
Again, you're making assumptions that I can put 2 and 2 together here, John. I get it. There's a lot of redheads. I was disappointed that Gambit wasn't in this, and Gambit wasn't even created yet. Okay,
Greg still hasn't gotten past.
Well, we're gonna get past Greg's upset because we're gonna jump all the way to New York to where some of the New Mutants are hanging out, having a malted. Isn't that what the young kids say these days? And messing around. Doug is having a little bit of a laugh. He's a New Mutant, on leave from school, having a blast. Ileana is there, Magic to those that know, Peter's sister. They're messing around, and then finally she's fed up with his shenanigans, and she decides to teleport him back to school where Kitty Pryde is running the danger room with her pet dragon. So a lot going on here. Some teenage hijinks going on, some stuff. How about now we're giving you a whole other mess of new characters, Greg? Are you still keeping up? How you doing here?
No idea who any of these. I knew Kitty Pryde, Kate.
Yeah, sure.
Like, I couldn't tell you. I was like, the one dude. I was like, is that like a wannabe Colossus? I didn't know.
That's fair.
I didn't know who. I don't know who. I don't know who Donnie Almond is here. I did not know the other person was Magic. So.
Yeah, this is young Ileana when she was a lot younger. Obviously she's
Ileana is her name. Is the character of Magic.
Ileana and Peter Rasputin are Colossus and Magic. This is the brother sister.
So that is Colossus.
That's some random bully.
There's a bunch of random bullies at the malted shop here.
So who's Donnie?
Just some random dude here.
Yeah,
So Donnie and a bully are random people.
Yes.
Okay.
Doug, the blonde-haired guy.
Okay, Doug. Okay, Doug.
Oh.
Doug is not a random. He's a
Doug
mutant.
is so Doug's mutant power is communication. He's the one in the Krakoan era who talks to the island of Krakoa. He's the only one that can speak to it. So he speaks all languages.
Yeah.
See, the only superhero I know, Doug, is Quail Man. So this, I'm already lost again.
There's a Quail Man. Now I'm learning stuff.
See,
Come on, Jay, you know Quail Man. Come
You
on.
know
I love
Doug's
him.
funny.
I got the statue right over there.
Oh, nice.
Justin, what are your thoughts here? We got teen drama again, as usual. Whenever we get glimpses of the New Mutants, we always get a little bit of this. How's the love life going stuff?
Yeah, like seeing these little clips here, them goofing off, just having fun, makes me really excited for when we do get into the New Mutant stuff. And I should clarify, Greg, like I'm still very new to the New Mutants as well, just not knowing any backgrounds fully. And the only reason I know Doug is because of the new stuff, like the Hickman stuff. And so even that, I wouldn't say I know him,
because this is like only the third time we've seen Doug in this omnibus. Doug is a very new character. Ileana, we've seen a lot more of because of Peter.
She's
and
had some
relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Doug is a fairly new character to us. If you haven't read the 20-something issues of New Mutants that have been at the same that we're running concurrently.
Oh, correct. Yeah, the current. Yeah. So the other thing I found interesting, and we get this theme a couple times in here, is actually even on the plane scene, the pages before this, like we get a couple of just insults of oh, I'll show you what a real human being is like, and kind of throwing jabs at mutants right off the bat. And that's what this Colossus looking guy is doing, this bully, as he's starting with Doug. And then I like that Ileana showing her badass side of things, not, backing down to anybody, not afraid to use her powers to kind of put people in their place or what have you. So she steps up there. This little scene I really like for that reason. And then, of course, Doug kind of yells at her, says, hey, Professor X told us that you shouldn't be, flaunting our powers around, stuff like that. But I like that even we hear that, because we haven't really seen, at least not from this, maybe in New Mutants, it's, spoken more there, but just knowing that they're being told not to, or, to be cautious or whatever. And Ileana's kind of not holding back regardless. So just little character builds here.
Wait, time out. So the blonde haired dude is not we keep saying the bully, but the Colossus looking dude is defending because he thinks Doug is bullying the girls. Isn't that why he's attacking them? Because he thinks.
I did not take it that way. I took it as he didn't like Doug's jokes and the way he was messing around talking to the girls.
He's like, hey, I'll make a kissy face, and he's trying to. I don't know. It looks like he's trying to stand up for the girls here.
I think I took it as Doug was being more playful, and they knew that he's being playful. But
the girls are all laughing in the panel next to him.
But she throws him off in the panel.
But she does.
That's Ileana. Right. That's Ileana throwing him off.
But the guy wouldn't know that. If you're at a mom and pop shop and some girl throws off a guy who's making kissy faces at her,
maybe that's fair.
Wow,
no, that's fair. The only thing that stood out to me as the negative part was that the guy in blue, that was the Colossus, says scummy mutie.
Right,
and so that to me is okay, I know this guy's mindset, I know how he thinks, he's not a good person.
He just tried to defend a girl, but
maybe. Who then took care of it herself, so
which works out great.
Yes, but there's some comments here I wanted to share. I saw a Magic Last thing on the first page. I was confused when they told North Star. He thought he was talking about the Alpha Flight character North Star, who we'll see in a little later. Let's go. Not the name of the plane. That could be confusing. We got Damien. What's going on, Sleepy Reader? How you doing, sir? We got Gore Vidal. What's going on? Jackson Roy Kirk saying Gambit as a frail. I'm having problems with this book. There it is. William Bird said Smith did a great job, but behind the scenes, Byrne had been approached to do it, but there was some disagreement on story and character. Ooh.
Oh, no way. Wow.
There's a Quail Man and a Bird Man. I'm learning a lot. Yeah, we're all learning. There's learning happening.
That's what we do the show for, gang.
See, I took it like that. Fake Colossus is jealous of the fun that Doug is having with the girls, and he's just being a kind of a
jerk.
Yeah, a kind of a jerk. Yeah. But let's jump to the danger room to see what Kitty Pryde's getting into. She's running the X-Men and New Mutant character or teammate Rachel Summers through a bit of training, and Rachel wearing just really a great outfit like Rogue. I think there's a lot of good costuming happening here, but we know Rachel, very unstable person. Her traveling through time, her backstory pretty complicated, and Yeah, she does it. She does it. Jean Grey, holding the head in agony and basically warping the reality of the Danger Room at the same time, turning it into her nightmare scenario, which is the future that she escaped and where she is the hound that hunts mutants down for the Sentinels to destroy. And this obviously sets off a battle sequence where the X-Men are trying to protect each one another as the system gets way out of hand. Kitty can't figure out how to shut it down, so she's calling for the professor, who then has to come in and sort of psychically override Rachel and shut down whatever it is that she's doing. But we jump right into some the Danger Room, man. It's always dangerous. Justin, thoughts on this Danger Room shenanigan bit here?
Yeah, this was awesome. I have to say that center panel in the very center of your slideshow there, where Colossus is getting ready to throw Wolverine, like I love that shot, because you have Nightcrawler bamfing in. He's like half his body, you can only see his top half, while the rest of the smoke's kind of behind him. You got the giant leg in the background, so you know exactly that what's going on. Like they're in a bad situation. They're going up against the pink and purple robots, and you got Rogue taking off, and then of course, and I actually forgot that even Rachel's like crouched down below, which she's kind of been in that position a lot lately, out of her just kind of losing it, not having control, mentally, battling something, and then the rest of the team, like I love Colossus's stance, getting ready to do the fastball special. I just love that whole scene. And then of course when he does it and actually throws him, thinking about Days of Future Past, like the cover of 142, that whole thing, except instead of Wolverine getting killed this time, Nightcrawler comes and like bamps him out of there, which was really neat. And then I love that perspective of Colossus trying to protect Rachel, his face down, and meanwhile you got the one robot up over top of him there. So yeah, love these pages as a whole, and definitely just as far as the action sequences go. The only thing was, we get this other part towards the far end where like Colossus gets dropped by Rogue basically because her cheek touches his chest when he like catches her or whatever.
Right.
This is where I'm still not quite sure like how instant it works. And for her cheek to just, it says like he just gets dropped basically. And then I don't think, at least from what I recall, they never address it. Like Colossus is like standing again, like the next page. But it says that he's dropped.
He recovers quick.
Yeah, I get that kind of. I was kind of wondering, like, was that supposed to go somewhere, or that was just like a short blurb or whatever.
Bobby's got a great comment. He says, "Doug can read any language, but he can't read the room." There it is. We got Inja Binja in the chat. What is going on? How are you doing? Good to see you, friend. So we're jumping into the Danger Room here, Bearded. What were your thoughts, Greg, on this Danger Room sequence?
I was confused. This is going to be a theme for the night. Let's just put it out there. I had no idea why David Bowie was in the Danger Room next to Wolverine. And turns out David Bowie is Scott Summers' daughter. This is confusing to me as someone.
The leggings, the wool leggings and the unitard didn't give it away. She reminds me of the Babe. It's coming in as someone who hasn't read a lot. It is. I'm like, what is going on here? I got a sense of what's going on in the Danger Room, that somehow it got corrupted and they're now trying to fight it. The little speedball, is that what it's called? A speedball? Fastball
special. That was dope. That's always cool. And you get the Sentinels, or as Justin calls them, the purple and pink robot guys. But who am I? I'm not an X-Men person. I don't want to.
That's what I call them. Everybody needs more pink and purple robots.
Best kind of villains.
So I don't know what is it Rachel?
Yeah.
I don't know what her powers are, at this moment. So like I don't know like why she's corrupting and what's going on. So, and
the truth is, we don't either.
Okay,
like,
so you guys are kind of guided along with me then.
Yeah, I mean, we know she has similar powers to Jean.
Okay,
right? Jean Grey and her mom she's got similar power sets, but clearly none of the control.
And did we know before this issue that she was Scott and Jean's? Okay,
yeah.
Okay, yeah, and I can see this being confusing too, with like the fact that she has this whole history. And the one panel there where she's dressed in all black, like that might have confused you as well. But that was all a flashback to her from her future, where she came from in Days of Future Past, like that storyline.
Got her on the leash.
See, I thought it was something like a video game thing, like in the Danger Room, like where they have all like a video game where like they have all the balls on your like, and they record the movements and stuff.
Oh
like,
yeah, like filming.
That could be. What's up, Mark? The Cuddy Sark is in the chat. What's going on, sir? In the handbook, they say Rogue's power is instant. 1 second of contact is 1 minute of her to use it. Rogue was in contact with Ms. Marvel for so long that it somehow became permanent. Oh, right. That's how she got all her powers. So while Rachel is trying to recover and Xavier is trying to walk her through what was going on, she flashes to the other half of what we missed at the beginning. Cyclops and his wife flying. Lightning hits the plane. They go down in the Alaskan wilderness, and coming out of the crash, it seems like Scott is covered in this crazy yellow flame and running right through or up to Rachel, who's just screaming like she doesn't know what's going on. All she's able to gather from this is what she could hear from Scott at the moment where he was talking about Shaman, who was a member of the mutant team Alpha Flight, the super team from Canada, Alpha Flight. And instantly this sets Rachel off. So we cut to Canada, Calgary specifically, where the team Alpha Flight is dealing with its own drama. And I am not a big Alpha Flight fan, so I'm always trying to catch up with who these characters are, what they're all doing, what this all about. But for those that don't know, the guy with the tidy whities there is Walter Lankowski, also known as the Sasquatch. And he's dealing with his own issues with being able to control his ability to turn into this beast. We've got Shaman, the medicine man mystic, who's checking on him health-wise. He's also a doctor and a medical doctor. And behind him, we've got Aurora, the sister of North Star, who we will see a little bit later. And so she's carrying what's going to happen to Walter. She's worried about him. And in the office of the doctor, we've got Heather, who is sort of the de facto leader of the Alpha Flight team. And her husband passed away recently, leaving behind the mantle of Vindicator, no leader for the team of Alpha Flight. So she's basically become this new leader for the team, but has no abilities of her own, just the suit that gives her some kind of abilities. While they're talking, chatting, another member of the team comes in. If that wasn't enough, we got Snowbird falls in. She is not doing well. Health-wise, she is struggling. We don't know what's going on. And then all of a sudden, it's Rachel Summers, who has gone on a spree, gone all the way from New York to Alaska in a hot minute, and is now attacking Alpha Flight as a way to get out her anger about what's going on with her dad. So, Greg, we got more new characters. We're throwing more people at you. Got a whole other team, man. A whole other team for you.
Yeah. So John and Justin said, "Hey, Greg, we want to have you on our show to talk about X-Men. All the X-Men you know aren't going to be in any costumes that you're familiar with.
Correct.
And you're going to have a whole nother team that even us diehard X-Men fans don't know anything about.
That's accurate.
And we're going to have you discuss it. So again, staying with the theme, I'm confused. I have no idea who any of these characters are.
It seems like every few pages we're throwing a whole new group of people at you.
It's I've read 5 issues of Alpha Flight recently. It was the Ed Brisson arc.
Okay.
And so like I remembered like Puck. Like that was a familiar one. That's about it. There's a lot going on that I'm just still confused at, like, who are these people? Why are we here? How did she get from New York to, I don't know her powers yet still. So like, is she like Nightcrawler? Can she like tell, like, I don't,
she's fast, obviously.
I'm like, what is going on? Like,
we also don't know how much time has passed between what we saw and, these two locations, because obviously we're going to see the rest of the team seems to get there too.
Yeah, they move pretty quick. So, and if they're all on the Blackbird, then that goes up when you ask about Blackbird versus Batwing, like that probably goes up a bit because it's fast.
It's got a very good speed. Yeah. People in the chat saying Alpha Flight dealing with their issues. Boy, did John Byrne have them go through a lot. Yeah, this is true. Heather and her husband, who was the first to find Wolverine in the Canadian wilderness. Yeah, that's why they are friends. Heather and her husband found Logan.
Who was her husband?
His name is James Hudson. His superhero character was the Vindicator.
Okay.
He was the original leader of the Alpha Flight team.
I thought it was the I thought it was a Canadian guy. was with the Shield, like Captain America Canadian? Is he not?
No, he was never on Alpha Flight as far as I remember.
Yeah.
Not when I was reading it as a kid.
So the Canadian member is not on the Canadian super.
Correct, but it would be like Captain America leading the X-Men. It just doesn't fit.
He leads the Avengers.
Right. This
Aren't
is
they
not
like the
their event. This is more like their X-Men, less like their Avengers.
So does Canada also have an Avengers team though?
That I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Good question.
We got Cali Comics in the chat. What's going on, John? Good to see you, sir.
Kelly.
Almost 100 pages to talk about to Greg. Don't feel bad, Greg. That's me most weeks.
Candace.
He's got 7 of 15 book fantasy series you've never read. Please read and be ready to discuss how it fits to the entire series. Oh, look! Hey, we got Ryan the Colossus Collector. He says, "Look on the bright side. It could have been X-Men Annual 8. Like he did last week."
I don't know, Colossus Collector. I didn't read Annual 8, but the Alpha Flight crossover is not doing a great start.
It's not doing it for Greg. It's not doing it for Greg. How about you, Justin? How are you doing with this Alpha Flight squad? Because I don't know if you've ever read any Alpha Flight.
No, so this
what we've had in these omnis.
No, Greg, this is where I join you a bit more with questioning some of these Alpha Flight characters. Yeah, I will say the names alone, like I know Shaman, and I think that's like it. That was, and I knew Heather just because the tie-ins that we learned a little bit that they grew up with Wolverine, or with Logan, like they knew them from a long period of time. So other than that, though, throughout this whole thing, I have to say, like, doing a second reread of both of these issues was way more helpful once I got to the end of it. I was from this point on, there were a lot of parts where I got really confused with just who was who, whose power was who. There's like a Jean and a Jean Paul, but I was reading it as Jean twice. So I was like Jean with an N-E at the end.
This is where you get the Batman crossover with Jean Paul.
Yeah. So this was definitely a little bit of a turnoff going into these pages. And then on top of that, you got, the Chicken Red, who is like 2 different personalities. So that even threw me off even more.
The schizo Aurora
with not understanding things. Yeah. Like that was really, but all that aside, I just went with it. Greg, you just got to go with it. You just go.
That's what
I mean, ultimately, that's what these like mini series from the 80s was a lot of like, we're going to introduce people to all these characters they've never read before and just kind of like cram them all in. That's kind of what their function was. There was a ton of them.
It just seems like it is, and not that they could choose any other better way to do this, but like putting Alpha Flight in this book for those, like, if we just been doing what we've been reading in Omnibus. I haven't read anything else Alpha Flight other than some of the current stuff. But like, if I didn't, like, I would just be lost. I would just not, as a kid, if I'm reading this as a kid and all I did was stick to Chris Claremont, X-Men titles and Omnibus, the stuff that's been in the Omnibus, I would definitely be lost.
For sure.
Asking a lot of these questions. So yeah, Greg, I'm with you with a lot of this stuff that we see here.
They're Canadian. Take out the supervillain and then say sorry. That's what they do. They take out the supervillain and then say sorry. So yeah, the teams got quickly getting into a bit of a fight here. Rachel battling battling Alpha Flight. Lankowski turns into Sasquatch. Aurora turns into her other personality, the superhero, right? So she's going to now fight. Rogue and the Blackbird are racing to catch up. Rogue flies in. You see that Rachel has then already started this fight, and she's thrown Shaman's man purse at Heather to distract her. So she's got to deal with this magic man purse. You got Puck and Sasquatch tearing down the hall trying to find what's going on. Rogue is thinking, like, I'm going to get in this action and save the day, but she comes crashing into North Star, the twin brother of Aurora, with super speed and super flight. And when they crash into each other, they just, it's almost like a kiss. Skin to skin, he goes down instantly. She's absorbed his power and taken him out. Meanwhile, Rachel is trying to take out the rest of the team, and Lankowski's trying to take out the building. He just rips the walls off the place to get in there. And amidst all of this bamfing onto the scene, we get Nightcrawler and Charles. And Xavier uses his ability to jump into her mind and basically just like shut her down, pulls her into the astral plane. It's like, look, no. Okay, whatever this crap is, you're not handling it right. Like, let's figure this out, but this is not the solution. So whenever the superhero teams meet, they got to fight a little bit first, right? But that's a comic trope. This is Bronze Age classic comic trope crap.
Classic. Let's just fight before we talk and figure out we're on the same team.
Correct.
Every crossover has this,
right? It's a man purse satchel thing, right?
You're all wrong. It's a merce. Call it what it is, gang.
Definitely a merce. Yeah.
It's a merce.
I know that guy. What's going on, old buff? Good to see you, sir. Yeah, Justin, what are your thoughts here on the fight scene between these two teams?
So first of all, you keep saying Aurora. Is that the girl in red?
Aurora
is
Jean Paul, whatever his sister.
Okay, but is she the one that's red that
in
then
red
changes
and then
into
changes
white
into
and yellow?
And then now she's in white and yellow, correct?
Right.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They are French Canadian.
What's the name
they
of the
both
one?
speak with
Bird.
Snowbird.
Oh, Snowbird. Okay, that's
she's got the she's blonde haired. She's the one that's basically dying this whole book. Like
got it.
All she's doing is really just dying. That's all she does.
Okay. So yeah, I like that one scene where Puck is like standing on his hand and he's like, whoever this is that's messing with us, we're gonna lay it to him. Like, and it's just like both teams are like saying that. They're like, whoever's messing with us, we're gonna take him.
I'm gonna rough somebody up.
Yeah. And then I do like that we get the little astral plane scene, kind of reminded me of Avengers and the Hulk and him getting removed and all that stuff in the film.
Yeah.
And if you notice, Charles like becomes massive, or either that or he shrinks Rachel, but he's like yelling at her and she's this tiny little thing on the astral plane, which was just a cool little like visual. But yeah, I like that he has to come in and kind of discipline a little bit,
right? Greg, were you at least able to enjoy the battling without being like, oh god, I don't even know who these people are?
Yeah, there are some tropes there that I recognized.
It's the Bronze Age.
I did a little double take when Sasquatch right there at the he shouts Puck, the name Puck, and it doesn't look like it at first that's what he shouts, and I was like, whoa,
he just dropped an F-bomb in the middle of this miniseries,
and then Rogue's like, I love that Rogue's like her way to just knock out people is like, I'm just gonna kiss you real quick and you're gonna drop. Like, like she just pulls the Uma Thurman Poison Ivy kiss. There's a little Joel Schumacher.
There it is. It had to happen.
So like I love that happens. And you got the floating head of Charles Xavier there in that panel. It's fun action here. Like this is where like I don't know necessarily what's going on, but I can tell that they're all fighting, and like it's like I don't know why the purse is eating the lady's hand, but I thought that was fantastic. And it would have been really cool as if it ended with her pulling like a rabbit out or something, like just to keep with like the really tropiness of it, but they didn't. It was a missed opportunity. So let Chris Claremont know that next time you see him, Justin. There's a missed opportunity there.
That's fair. But then, of course, very quickly, everybody realizes, nope, we're all on the same side. That darn redhead was the problem. We all don't like her. Everybody's got to deal with her instability. Shaman is trying to figure out what's wrong with Snowbird and realizes that something is very, very messed up with her, and he can't figure out how to heal her. The normal way he would try to bring her back is not working. Some things are not working the way they're supposed to. So the team has a couple of minutes of trying to talk, and they're realizing, you know what, this is related. Whatever Rachel saw, whatever Snowbird's going through, these things are related. So it's team up time. We got to team up together to solve the mystery. It's a little bit of a Scooby-Doo and Batman and Robin moment where they're all just going to come together to solve the problem. Greg, you had to know it was coming, right?
Yeah, you knew they were going to team up because that's what it's called. It's called Alpha Flight X-Men Team Up, or it's funny. You got the dude is just. I'm seeing way too much of a dude in his tidy whities throughout this comic book so far.
Lenkowski. What are you gonna do?
It's like, come on, bro. Like
he's like a doctor too, or whatever. He's like a scientist.
That's a jack scientist.
Comic book scientists are like that, right?
They're not. Comic book scientists were jacked back in the day. Like I don't know what modern day scientists are doing, but
they're not
putting step up their game because these comic book scientists are thick and it's good. It's setting up to where we're at. You're starting to see the dynamics. I still don't know who 85% of the people in this comic are.
Sure.
And then everyone, I'm like, oop, there's Nightcrawler, and I know Wolverine. Like,
don't worry. we're gonna add a whole bunch more in just a couple seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me, it's been 2 pages. We haven't introduced any new characters, so I can't wait till you turn to the next slide and we see a whole new slew
It's
of
about
characters.
it's about
And I'm
there.
like, why are you in this comic book, Loki?
Justin, anything you want to say about the agreeing to team up before we jump to the next bit?
Just the one part where essentially there's 3 things that happen. There's like the lightning strikes when Cyclops and them are in the plane and and gets shocked or whatever. And then there's the Rachel scene where visually she sees all this happening. And then there's the third part that talks about, or it's Nightcrawler in the middle there on the right, on the far page, that says, we've been charting a phenomenal, powerful mutant presence, which also appeared at the vicinity last night. So he's referring to these 3 incidents happening at the same time. Is it a coincidence? And that's where they kind of continue to talk. But was that Loki that they're talking about? Is there any other reference to what they're talking about there? Because I don't remember a third scene really.
Isn't that the whole like the lightning stuff that was going on with the ship? Isn't that the presence that they?
I think that's what it's referencing, what Loki has done and the power that these people have now, which is ultimately going to be Madeline Pryor's new ability, right?
Okay, so
where she's all this ultimate powerful character we're going to see in a second.
I see. Okay. Wait, I was just wondering what the third thing was.
Can we pull up William? Yes, thank you. I think we are missing a crossover then. If Lang's,
Jesus,
if he played football.
We're not going to get Super Pro. We're not going to say it. We're not going to say it. It's not allowed on this channel.
You know who played for the Bears? The Packers rival, Super Pro.
Oh my God. All right. So we jump to Loki. All this time we're wondering what the heck is going on. Let's give Loki his day. And Loki is basically arguing with we who sit above in shadow and really need an acronym. And they are basically trying to make a deal with him. He has something he wants from them, and his goal is to do the 2 things that they ask. And he basically says that he'll prove himself worthy by basically trying to fix Earth, fix humanity on Earth, make them happy and make them fulfilled, and accomplish this with ease. And so somehow he is manipulating this whole situation to achieve whatever ends he has. And for those who don't know, yes, this does relate to, I think a year or so down the line, the Asgardian War stuff that is a crossover. But it's not here.
I know I've joked a lot. This is a serious question though.
Yeah.
Is this what Loki looked like actually back? Because I am not familiar with this costume. Like I felt like he always had
he did have this look for a little while.
Was that
his original look? Is the one that's in the far
look.
corner, like the one that's in that like glorious purpose. That is legit accurate to how he looks.
So this Loki version is them trying to like
it's his
modern it up back in the day. Then okay,
that has the big shoulder pads and
because I wouldn't have realized it was Loki. Do they even say Loki? Yeah, they do. I wouldn't have until there. I was like, wow, that doesn't look like Loki.
Yeah, that's fair.
There it is. Yes, the gods themselves have their own gods. Everybody's got somebody. So Justin, any thoughts here on this this twist, or at least what we knew was coming because he's on the cover and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I was just questioning like these we who sit above in shadow. I was like, is that supposed to be Odin? Is that his dad that's in the middle? I don't know much about like Thor's family.
This is actually the first appearance of the we who sit above in shadow.
Oh, it is.
So
okay.
These are like separate entities. They don't necessarily have huge impact across Marvel, but the look of the main guy in the middle is very Odin-esque for sure.
Are they like the same level of like the Beyonder? Like, is this?
It does seem to be one tier, god tier above, obviously Loki and Thor and the Asgardians.
Right. Okay.
But I don't know the ranking and power levels, and Marvel Universe info out.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Like, I was trying to look closely at these characters to think like, oh, these are from this. I don't know, some other series or something, but like they never. Really
I can't connect them to anything else I've read except maybe the Asgardian War crossover storyline.
Yeah. So like at first, like I think I just got into my own head with this, like thinking like, whoa, like Thor's coming into this, and like the Guardians, and like I just thought it was gonna go way bigger than what it did, which thank goodness it didn't go in that direction, because I think that would have been,
because we need more characters here, is what you're saying.
That's what I
We
was
do.
like, I'm like, well, when is
more?
Thor's going to show up, and then the Avengers are going to show
We need
up?
more characters. Hey, one of my original blue wrenches, the boy who
Yo.
had 7. What is going on,
Matt.
Matt? Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, man.
So anybody want to throw anything in here before we jump to more new characters?
No, John's like, we got to pick this up. We're 20 pages in.
We're not even through the first book yet, but let's get going. Yeah. We're flying along as a team. We're looking for this incident where the crash happened. Everybody's carrying around some baggage here, talking about how they're feeling about stuff. Wolverine noticing that Heather is still carrying the loss of her husband around, and he obviously had an affinity for James as well, and so there's a little bit of connectivity there. You've got Rogue and North Star flying around. Rogue, who's feeling like, I haven't kissed a guy until just recently. This is kind of cool. I want to do that again, but I don't want to kill this guy. So I guess we're stuck just talking about it instead. Shaman trying to figure out what's going on with Snowbird, still doesn't have any real answers to any of that. And everybody just curious where this is all heading. And I'm going to go one more forward. We can go back though.
Yeah.
But we find this patch of grass, and the team lands here, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. And look at this fancy Dr. Seuss looking castle that's in the middle of this field here, which clearly might be this other energy incident that we saw, that the X-Men registered, the creation of this universe. So, Greg, Dr. Seuss here, what are you thinking of? The Lorax is going to show up, right?
The Lorax, Nightcrawler's rocking some Gilligan's Island look here for whatever reason. He's like, listen, I'm flying a plane. Let me put on a skipper hat for a boat. I do appreciate the little exchange between Wolverine and Heather, I think is what her name is.
Yeah, Heather Hudson.
Where Wolverine's making fun of Puck's stature, and Heather's like, check yourself there, Wolvie, because you're pretty short yourself.
We've been calling Wolverine a midget for years on this thing, so you can't just throw that back at somebody.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that, because I did get that reference, because I do know that Wolverine is supposed to be of the shorter stature.
Indeed.
Yep.
But yeah, it's fine. I like hear me out. I don't think we got enough of Nightcrawler and Puck. Like, I think that would be a great buddy duo, like them just solving a crime, X-Men Alpha Flight style. Like, I don't care about the rest. Give me a Nightcrawler Puck crossover series, and I think it will sell like hotcakes.
Puck Crawler.
Yeah.
Night Puck.
Night Puck. And if you mistype that, you're going down a whole other rabbit hole. But listen, Marvel, nothing bad can happen with this. This is a golden idea.
Yeah, it is. That's true.
What does Puck do? What is his ability?
He's got elevated strength and agility and durability, but he's also just basic. It's all acrobatics. He's like a tumbler gymnast kind of guy, but he does have extra strength.
Everything comes in like smaller packages, like they're like stronger.
He's often known for like bouncing off of things and crashing and knocking people down. And he did not appear at this. This is his first time appearing in X-Men stories, because up to now he was not on the original team that first appeared in Uncanny X-Men. He joined when they launched their own solo book.
Gotcha.
Okay. Bottom tier collector. What's going on? Yeah, we're reading. I mean, technically, this is Uncanny X-Men, as Greg has found out. Not so much. But we're working on it.
On and on.
Whoa! Put some respect on Puck. There is a discount beast. Excuse me,
Adam.
He's
the best character in this Alpha Flight team so far. So
he is a bowling ball. He's a bowling ball.
Yeah.
He's the best. He's the most entertaining one that Adam has seen.
Thank you.
So Justin, what about you? What are your thoughts on Dr. Seuss's house here?
So I legitimately consider this to be Kulan Goff. Thought they were bringing him back again. I'm like, really?
I mean, we've had like several of these in a row.
Yeah,
I'm like fantasy universes, and we're just stuck in it. Like,
And I'm like, if they wanted to go back to this, why did they erase it? The way they did in those last couple. Yeah, I mean, the town itself a little cheesy, the artwork there. But I will say, as far as like generally speaking, the art, the faces. If you can go back a page for a sec, like absolutely. I love the detail in some of this stuff, the Wolverine that we get, that style, and I didn't really bring the stuff from before, but obviously we've been dealing with a lot of JR and even the stuff that we saw from Steven forget his last name, Halilea or whatever.
Leia Loa.
Leia Loa. Like, you know, it's been pretty rough. Like the last, you know, this Omni's been,
and obviously we have some affinity for Paul Smith from Volume 3, and this is kind of a throwback to what we had seen from him earlier,
right? Which I like appreciate it even more now, knowing some of the stuff we went through recently. So I love the detail there. I also I like how who is it? Like Rachel is like, oh God, like she realizes she messed up, and the other girl there wants to, or who is it? The Kitty. Chick. No, but the other girl,
who's like bad mouthing her in her mind, like
yeah, she's
like Aurora. Is it Aurora?
Aurora,
yeah. She's like, she goes, you need me to bring anything up? Heather's checking in on him. She's like, a dagger, Heather, to thrust through the redheaded mind witch's heart. Like her eyes are like just staring down, Rachel from the other side of the plane. Like,
which also like the dialogue for that character switches up very often from like very French Canadian to just straight up like
she is schizophrenic
to then like medieval like thous dagger to the heart. Like she goes.
It's the fractured mind. Let's put it on that.
Sure, let's call it that.
Sure. Yeah. I also wanted to highlight the fact that there's at this point, North Star was not gay. It had not been revealed. He became one of the first outed Marvel characters in the history of Marvel. Somewhere in the early 90s, he was outed as being a gay man. So that's why I have the barking up the wrong tree gift there, because as much as Rogue is like, hey, I kissed this guy, I want to do it again. It's not going to work out. This is not a long-term option for either.
I didn't even know that.
So
I don't know.
So he kissed a girl who stole his powers and decided, I'm done with girls.
I kissed a girl, don't like it. Yeah.
So
there it is.
Rogue just like I
kind of don't blame him. Yeah, I don't
I'm not kissing a girl if they can steal my powers. If that happens, no.
Right. Yeah, that might have turned him off to the whole thing. So then, even better than that, we get for Ryan's sake, a whole bunch of new outlandishly dressed characters for him that are coming out of this castle palace thing. It's actually Cyclops, just as you totally remember him in the typical normal Cyclops costume with the visor. No, he doesn't have a visor. His eyes work just fine. He's normal. He's been healed. All is good with the world. And I've got all these friends that you totally know these guys. You totally recognize all these people. Look at their costumes. You know them. That's my wife. She's taller than me now, but that's my wife. Turns out something has happened to shift Madeline. She's got this ability to heal and change the universe in her mind. So she goes around just changing everybody willy-nilly. Hey, Puck, you wish you were taller? Done. Hey, Linkowski, you wish you could control your beast form? Done. Right? She's just going around fixing the universe. Cyclops wants to be able to see without his visor. Done. I got you, boo. So Justin, were you able to follow some of what Madeline's doing here in her Wonder Woman form? Because she's called Anodyne now.
Yeah,
and she is taller than Scott. She's the tallest one in the lot.
Yeah. So the first time reading through this, I had missed where she said that was her new name. So later in the book, like in the second chapter, I'm like, who is this Anodyne? Until I went back and reread the first issue. I'm like, oh, okay, I totally missed that part.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I do recall, like in the very beginning of this issue, Heather talks a lot about how she feels helpless, like she just can't, during that whole first action sequence, her in the merce, her arm in the merce, all that stuff. She expresses herself that, clearly this has been bugging her. She wishes that she had powers of some sort to do good in the world like all her companions can. So it's interesting that now she got her wish, and we're starting to get the gist of, the gift and what's happening there with everything else. So,
those yellow flames we saw on Cyclops in the vision that Rachel had seem to be happening elsewhere now.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So just kind of putting two and two together with a lot of this stuff. But again, like a lot of the names I got confused with. And I think what threw me off was seeing the panel of all the, the introduction of these new team. Yeah, this one here. Like
the D&D, the LARPers,
might say
the LARPers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I like didn't even connect or wasn't even like considering all the different characters that we got introduced to in the very beginning.
We spent so much time with them in that plane, Just so many pages of time getting to know all of their backstories. You couldn't remember that?
Exactly. So that's where I'm just like, why? Like, why are we getting these people right now? Why does this one know how to cook and like all? And I forgot.
That's what Greg was probably thinking. Like, another page of like 10 new people I got to meet.
I didn't realize the guy in the purple, the black guy in the purple,
the monk
white
outfit.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was the guy on the plane till
with the book.
Right.
Yeah, with the
same. Yeah. No, I didn't even consider those people. Like none of those people to me.
None.
I was just like, okay, this is
clearly you're not alone, Greg. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. This definitely got tricky. Again, once I like got through it the first time, was able to reread into the second. I'm like, okay, like everything connects. I thought really well at this point. Now that I'm like getting my bearings for a lot of the characters and the names and all that stuff. So, the whole thing with Scott that throws me off, just seeing him. Blue eyes, like no anything, and he's just
quite a look. It's quite a
good
look.
Old miracle, miracle statement. Yeah.
All right, so Greg, you got to know all these characters. You're finally like, okay, I think I know these Alpha Flight guys, and then we're like, no, we're gonna change all of them now. The little guy's big guy now. Monster guy can control himself. Schizophrenic girl.
And we're gonna put them in new costumes.
Yeah,
so
we're gonna give them some new names
if they say their name.
Right.
If you're lucky, and all of a sudden,
good about
Barda
this?
shows up here in this.
Yes. Redheaded Barda.
And this is gonna sound like a dumb question, but now I'm even more confused. Why was Xavier walking? Why was Xavier walking already? Like before he got to the island? Is he not in his wheelchair now?
Oh, I like that you're calling it the island. This is Lost now.
I don't know what's going on.
The
like
island.
Why is John Locke walking? Why does he have his legs back? Why is Charles Locke?
Yeah, that's a good point.
These are all acceptable questions.
Yeah. This it is a long story, but he essentially got
he's out of the wheelchair at this point.
He's able to walk. Yeah,
because that was what was confusing to me, because I thought it looked like there were panels before that, but then this big Barda character is giving all these people their wishes of like, you're short, you can be tall now.
Right.
You have eyes that shoot lasers out of your eyes. So I thought they're like, hey, let's just make you walk now, John Locke. Like I was, I was thoroughly confused again, because I was like, wait, was he already? So this is another thing. He was already walking. I didn't know. That doesn't play into this.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
And so once I'm on board, they're like, hey, let's screw it up and change all their costumes. Cool.
Yeah. That makes it easier for you to track it at least. Is this some event tie-in issue like DC likes to do? This is so out of place. It is one of those.
Listen, no company knows how to do an event tie-in.
It's fair.
1 out of 10 event tie-ins work.
That's a fair ratio.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And that's for DC or Marvel. I don't want like people, oh, you're a DC fanboy. No, it's the same for both. They're really
Let's see. There's having some different chats here. Inja says her YouTube app is being stupid. Not if you found this stream. It's working perfectly. It's all making magic happen. The LARPers would be a great name for a monthly title. I mean, okay. I'm not reading it, but you go for it. We mentioned Lost. We mentioned Wonder Woman. We mentioned Super Pro. It's all just happening at this point. Oh my gosh, Professor X is John Locke. Mind blown. There we go. This chat is on fire. I love it. But let's go inside. Let's go inside the castle, see what's going on. Shaman still very unhappy with this whole situation. He's like, Snowbird is dying. This is not working. She's got very little time to live. I've got to figure out a solution. And so he's just taking off. He's like, I got to figure this thing out. Wolverine's also like, yeah, something's going on. Snowbird's disappeared. We got to figure it out. I'm going to help figure out where she went. So he takes off, and he takes somebody named Pathfinder, also known as Boyd Wilson. Help me. You know animals, and I guess you can track something. I don't know. You read books before you changed into whatever you are now. The rest of the team is like, no, we're going to go to a party because that's what we're here for. We're going to party. Everybody gets new outfits. Poof. Look, Colossus has fur on now. This is great. Everybody's happy now. And they're going to fix Rogue. Hey, Rogue, you want to kiss that gay guy? Go for it. And she's like, dang, this is what I've been missing. It's all just magic is happening. Greg's like dying. He's like, John's making this work so much better for me than it was when I read it the first time.
No, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole.
Okay.
But Candace, her comment sent me down a rabbit hole, and I was trying my best to not go down this rabbit hole.
You're gonna
John Luck.
who is which character from Lost?
Oh god,
You got
obviously Scott is Jack, right?
and
That's pretty
angry
straightforward.
Logan is Sawyer.
Is Sawyer.
And
Makes sense.
Jean Grey.
Jean Grey is Kate, stuck in the
I'm
middle.
literally comparing in my mind. I'm
Yeah.
like, could this actually work while you were talking? And then when I realized how perfectly it
There's
works,
a blonde
I start
girl.
cracking.
There's a blonde girl and her big brother. So,
the writer
we've got Peter and Kitty
Claremont.
right there.
Yeah, the writers
let's
just
be
took
honest.
Claremont's idea.
Several writers on Lost were comic book writers too.
I
Brian K.
trying my
Vaughan
best not to go down this rabbit hole, but it worked so well. Once that lock, Professor Xavier,
done. Now you're set. That's
I'm
all
set.
So Justin, what are your thoughts here on this sequence? I personally really liked some of the character stuff going on here, even if it's just happening really fast.
Yeah. It definitely moves quickly, but like I did enjoy a lot of this. Like seeing Shaman just like completely forget about his patient,
Yeah.
you know, and that's why he storms off, right? He storms off. He's like, I must be getting old or something. Like, what is happening to me? Like, I was just, my whole like goal here was to make sure she's okay, and now she's not even with me. So yeah, him storming off there. I like the instant change. The
Costumes.
The woman that did it, her name, but yeah, just having that ability to like swap all them out. And Colossus is just looking down. He's got these two like mink fur animals, like her little fox heads, like hanging. It's kind of dark actually when you think about it.
They call her Cornucopia. Her character was Carla
yeah.
beforehand, but
That's right.
Now she's.
I remember they were saying she could cook, or she was a really good cook, or something like. She was one that was like sleeping.
Who
on
cares?
the
We don't need these people's news. I don't know why I even gave it to you. It's a waste of time.
Yes, this is very true.
Yes, Lockheed is like the pet dog, right? She running off to like track down, see what's going on. Yeah. Greg, any thoughts here? Are we doing all right? Should I keep moving? We haven't even gotten to book
moving.
two.
I'm still recovering from the own story I'm playing in my head right
Sure.
now of how awesome a Lost comic with.
You keep going that then. You keep doing that route. Xavier's trying to figure out what happened. He wants to understand what's going on. This is too good to be true. So he's doing mental scans of things, and he finds, oh, Madeline's pregnant with a son. Oh, wow. And Madeline's like, oh, I wasn't really planning on telling anybody. And amidst all of that, we've got Rachel losing her crap again. Theme of the show. Like definitely drops her. She's like, oh my God, because she's from a timeline where she is the firstborn daughter of these two characters. So seeing that they have a son messes up with her whole understanding of what the future is going to bring, and all of her fears of the future now are maybe allayed. But does that mean she's not going to exist now? Has she changed time in a way that has ceased to make herself exist? Very concerning to her. And what does this all mean long term? And go storming off. Scott's like, I don't know what's wrong with that redheaded girl who looks a lot like my ex-wife, but whatever. Just let her go. Kitty Pryde, meanwhile, is she's going to try to join in the search to figure out what's going on to help find Rachel, and Rachel in her very casual outfit as well. And we also get Shaman's daughter, and Shaman is asking for her help and assistance as well. So amidst all of this, there's a lot of comings and goings here. I'm going to give us 2 slides again here to keep us moving. They decide to tell Shaman, hey, this is where we get the power for this whole place from. This light beam that comes from the gods gave us all our powers. And hey, look what it did to your friend Heather. Now she's like a Valkyrie now. She's got a cool costume, and she's tall and she's looking awesome. And what happens though is as they get closer to this power, Shaman disappears, and his bag, or he didn't vanish. I guess he's still right there. His bag unleashes all of these demons. It's almost like everything that had been contained, the magic inside of his bag, is completely set free, and the world is going crazy. So, roller coaster ride from these 2 pages here. Justin, what do you want to talk about? Where do you want to go with this?
So I feel like it's a better pay. Obviously, it's a better payoff when you know these characters, and like the first time too, it does seem like a lot of it's jammed together. But as I read through the second time, and even hearing it now again for the third, like I like a lot of it. Like I like how it moves, and I like a lot of like the drama that's happening with Rachel. You know, her expectation for, you know, it being her as a baby, and it's not. She freaks out and leaves. Isn't it from where Rachel's from? Isn't Jean her mom?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So so technically she's aware that like this redhead is not her mom.
Right.
Okay. So like, because like if I was there, like I'd be like, well, hold on, like that's not your mom, so you shouldn't assume that that's you. You know, that's a different lady. Anyways, I'm just trying to make logic here.
I get it.
The what's her name? Talisman? Is that her name?
Who cares? Another one of these stupid people. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
no, sorry, wait. Shaman's daughter. No,
Shaman's
we like
daughter, yeah.
We like her. She's important.
Yes.
I thought it was one of the people on the plane that has like new abilities.
No. Yeah, Talisman. Curious to know more with what goes on with her. And I know we get a bit more with her in the next issue.
Sure.
But and then what else? There was this. There's this other page. Oh yeah, who's the girl that walks in? Is it into the light? Is that oh, it's Heather. It is Heather.
That's Heather. Yeah.
Wait, if that's Heather, who's the other girl that's healing everybody?
Madeline Pryor character.
That's Maddie.
Oh,
Madeline
man.
is Anodyne.
Keep mixing it up now. Okay,
You got a redhead and an orange.
Gosh,
Orange,
you
yeah,
know
I got
this show's off the
orange,
rails
and
when I have to keep Justin straight.
This is not good.
There's a lot going on and a lot of characters. I think that's ultimately the stuff that frustrates me. But to Justin's point, I do like it. I've read this. Obviously, I read this when I was a kid. I read it when I was making the slideshow, and I read it again yesterday morning and enjoyed it the most that time. But the fact that you got to read it that deeply, that many times to even get to that place, that's the frustration for me. Totally. That's where it's so choppy. That's where it's so jam-packed. And I ultimately feels like a 4-issue miniseries that they tried to shove into 2. Yep. And it's just spilling over.
It easily could have been 6 if they wanted it to.
I wouldn't do the slideshow for it, but yeah, you can.
I don't want it to be 6. I don't know how you guys reread this 3 times prior to the show
because we're hosting this crap.
I listen. Yeah, right. Dedication. I read it once and that was good enough for me.
Oh man, Bobby says the first announcement of Cable. That's Baby Cable. We know that. That's good. Good call. Calm your ass. Jean is your mom, not Natty. There it is. It's the Mary Poppins bag from hell. Yeah, it is. That's not my bag, baby. That's not my bag, baby. Sorry, I didn't do the voice.
Baby, bag, baby.
This is a perfect summary of the season of On the X-Men.
Number 2 work for.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm about to finish this book off. I think. Let me see if I got.
You are about to.
Yay! Yeah. So it ends with chaos. You know, what's going on? This bag is trying to kill Shaman. How do we save him? And everybody's running around with this fight the beasts. And, you know, what are we going to do? And cut. End scene. New cover. Greg, you're halfway through. At this point, you're like, I'm never doing another one of these shows with John again.
No, I will absolutely do. Listen, it's fun. It's been a treat. I also get to insight into you guys. I do want to say, like, I feel like you're being a little hard on Rachel, John, with your like, oh, my emotions. Like, she just found out she might not exist in this timeline. Like, that to me feels like you're being a little bit like too flippant with like why she's emotional here. Like, oh, I might not exist in this timeline that we're living in. And John's like, oh, get over it. Oh.
But my point is, like, this is the 3rd time we've seen her melt down in one cover.
Yeah.
Okay, would you melt down if you were living in a world where you might not exist?
Sure, but I don't know that I need it 3 times in one book.
Okay, and then will you also melt down if you think that your dad's dying? Yeah, so there's at least 2 traumatic.
You're saying 2 are worthy. One of them.
I don't know what was the other meltdown.
Well, she broke the danger room.
Okay.
Then she crashed in and started beating the snot out of the Alpha Flight guys.
So 2 of the 3 are justified. Okay, I'm just not saying like I'm not going to go to John if I need counseling for my emotional support when I'm going through a traumatic experience.
Nobody's emotional support.
Like, oh goodness, like this sucks. And John's like, listen, Greg, your dog died and your dad died the same year. Like you get 2, one of the 2. Pick your emotional, right?
You can't keep carrying this around.
This cover again is cool. I always like a wraparound. I have no idea who the giant is.
None of us know. I read this book 3 times. I have no idea his name.
No,
I don't know who.
Unimportant.
Jack and the Beanstalk there.
Looks like a dairy.
It's And then I do like the Loki because I know that's Loki now by reading the first issue.
Right.
I did not know that going into this book though, because I did look at the covers. It's a cool cover. Listen, I'm a sucker for a wraparound.
They're great. Yeah, for sure. William Bird says, I'm an Alpha Flight fan back then, so I wasn't lost at all. And I think that would definitely benefit you. Yeah, I think that would make a big difference. And there was a lot of annuals, minis, and tie-ins this year in this omnibus.
But I mean, that's like anything. If you
struggles, this omnibus in particular.
If you did a Batman annual and you threw in characters from Batman 66 TV show, I'd be in my element and going, this is the best thing ever. I know every single person that's showing up here because I'm used to it. So I get it. But to someone who's never read it, like that's an annual is not going to be your gateway drug into a Alpha Flight comic
for sure. Giant Yosemite Sam. Oh, that's his name. I forgot. It's Yosemite Sam. That's who that is.
I thought it was Puck, like a larger Puck, like like he's just growing even more.
This doesn't make me want to read Alpha Flight.
If this conversation doesn't make you, I don't know what will.
I feel like you got everything here, all in one. It's all coming together. Justin, any thoughts on this cover? Where we finished from season one? It felt like a season. How we finished from issue 1?
No, yeah, like I mean, like where it left off, everybody's in trouble. They got to figure it out, and then we get this other cool cover. Yeah, I'm with you, Greg. Like a sucker for wraparound covers. I think this one's done really well, even though we don't know necessarily, some of the bigger giant characters. We're still seeing the rest of the team kind of laid out there. Again, if I were to kind of see this on the shelf, I mean, at least even if you only knew Nightcrawler, you'd be like, oh crap, like how did that happen? Not that he's even technically on the front.
What's Nightcrawler doing with all those other people who I don't
know? That would still create suspicion. So
they made room for a lot of characters on the ground there, and
Professor Xavier's on the ground, right?
I don't know. It's just a bald head, as far as I can tell.
It's a bald head. He's wearing a yellow and black suit, though.
I'm just kidding. Yes, it's definitely him.
Also, I noticed that the Giant has like North Star and Talisman, and what's his name, John Paul or whatever.
John Paul.
Yeah, all like all
these
like passed out in his hands.
Yep, it's true.
I didn't even realize that.
Yep,
they're tiny. They're tiny,
little tiny people. I thought that was fucking Wolverine.
Well, we're jumping back into this issue, and we've got Talisman running around with Kitty, trying to figure out where did Rachel go, what's going on. Hey, we found a rock. It's got some writing on it. Let's hold on to this. All right, but Lockheed wants to find Rachel. Fine. There she is, still freaking out, tantruming, really, really, really upset. The ugly crying face in action, and they're basically going up to her saying, "No, it's not as bad as you think. It's fine." And while they're talking, like, no, what's going on? There's an earthquake. No, we got to blast a hole and escape from this room that we're in. Kitty helps Talisman and Lockheed get out. Then she goes back, phases Rachel to help her get through these walls that they're trapped in so that they can all escape. We're just jumping right back in. I don't know what the earthquake is. I don't know what's going on, but obviously a lot of questions here, Justin, when we get back into this story. And these three ladies all in and out of the New Mutants at different times, kind of like trying to help one another.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some good character build here with some of this. Where was the one scene? I don't remember all now. But first of all, Kitty Pryde again, like MVP through a lot of this. I love some of the scenes where she's running through the rocks and boulders that are like collapsing on her. And we also learned
right through her head.
Like the artwork looks really cool. Like it's literally like going through her head and her hair. But like I like that we're learning a little bit more too about her abilities, where she's talking about having to hold her breath a little bit more. Like I think they touched on that like briefly before, but this was much more significant of like, she either it's going to slow her down or she has to hold her breath in order to get, keep moving through. And they end up coming out on the other side and she's like takes this big gasp of air. So just kind of cool to see that aspect of it. Also, seeing her, again, like kind of floating up to the top, being able to step on like molecules that they've kind of explained before. So I love seeing Kitty in action, being able to do all the tricks and stuff that she can do aside from just what you think in terms of her walking through walls and things like that.
Sure.
The other thing was, where was it?
Previous page, maybe.
Yeah, I'm trying. There was a scene of.
I did cut some pages.
No. That's all right. I'm going through the book, but
I don't want Greg to be here till tomorrow morning.
No, I know.
Oh, I'm good. This is worth it.
There was a scene where for Talisman where she talks about like her father pushing her dad away because of blaming her mom's death and everything else. Like that got me like interested more in the characters. Again, very high level, don't know much about who Talisman is. I know Shaman just because of some of the stuff from the Alpha Flight original issues 120 121 or whatever those were, but that was really it. So I do like that they take time to like build some characters. It's not all just like random action that goes on in this. The other thing I want to point out was, I don't know if you guys saw this, but in the omnibus, it has this additional page here. And it literally briefly walks through the entire. John, you could have shown this one page.
I was not going to. I didn't just
show all of episode one.
Let me get my omnibus.
But that, so that was in. That's in the omnibus, but it's not in the digital. I just found that interesting because you can't find that in the actual in the app, the unlimited app.
Oh, not there. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. All right.
Again, not that it's important.
I never really noticed that. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it. I did not notice that reading my Omni. So
turning the pages too fast there, Greg.
I just
thoughts, Greg. Are we good? What anything you want to add about Rachel, Talisman, Kitty, dragons?
Is this a safe space?
What are you possibly going to say that could be
the internet
up this in any way?
Can I ask it's going to come off as probably an offensive question to X-Men fans, but I feel like I have to ask this.
Okay.
Thanks for making me beg for this. What is the whole point, or who is this Figment that is with Kitty Pryde?
The dragon.
LOKI?
Yeah, Figment. It's a Figment knockoff.
I don't know who Figment is.
You don't know who Figment is?
Oh wait, is that the from D&D?
From
animation?
Freaking Disney Imagination Figment. Oh my goodness, aren't you a Disney kid?
Yeah, but what movie? What show? What
it's not a movie. It's from the parks. The Figment, the ride, the Imagination ride. Oh my goodness. Justin's Googling right now.
Yep. Oh yeah, this thing. Yeah.
Internet is not the safe space. No, that was sarcasm.
What's the whole thing with like a little mini dragon with her? I don't know this.
It's basically
it's
her
not
pet.
shown in a lot of the newer stuff with her.
Yeah, no, it was her pet in the 80s, and it still continues. This dragon has always been Kitty's like best friend.
Yeah,
her pet.
I'm not making stuff up. If you don't know who Figment is,
LOKI came first, is what
I don't
Damien
know. Someone
says,
Google
and I trust Damien.
I don't trust that sleepy reader.
I trust Damien for sure.
Someone Google Figment first appearance, LOKI first appearance. Do it. Chat, don't let me down. JP, shut up.
All right, well, we're gonna move Greg along here. We jump to Big Barda and Mr. Miracle as they are snuggling on the couch and thinking about their future, and we're getting a little sense as to what Madeline can do and how she's really enjoying the power because she's only been immortal up to this point. So seeing her then be able to be someone with amazing abilities who can heal and make people the best versions of themselves, it's really something that she's kind of enjoying. And then we see Kitty and Wolverine, and they're discussing a little bit of what is this plan? Like, what can we do to fix what's going on here? Because there's clearly some problems. And Wolverine decides, like, no. What I need to do is find Snowbird. That Snowbird's at the center of this thing. I need to do this. So let's team up. Let's go fly out here with Aurora. She's going to take me out to find Kitty Pryde, or to find Snowbird. And they do. They find Snowbird wasting away in this cave. And one of these guys with his monsters is coming to try to like put her out of her misery. They say she's going to be a sacrifice to whatever great changes we're having. We should just let her go. And that's not going to sit well with Lockheed and Wolverine. So we kind of are getting a bigger hint as to what's going on, how Snowbird is at the center of what's happening to the characters on the island. Sorry, this is the Big Barda I want to be with. I get it. He draws a really great Logan. I agree. So thoughts here, Greg, on ultimately what's going on with Wolverine and how he's trying to like stand up for Snowbird. Some of these bad guys are apparently like, yeah, put her out of her misery. She's worth sacrificing.
I did chuckle at this because like everyone else is like, oh, Puck is taller, all these other, and Logan is like, oh, I'm no longer a jerk. Like that was his whole like thing.
That's what the wizard gave him.
The wizard's like, oh, I'm Wolverine now. I actually care about people. Like I'm not a jerk. Like that just seems like the most.
Yeah. Some people got some great wishes. Nightcrawler stayed looking like a blue devil, but everybody else got some great deals out of this.
Yeah.
He's still got a tail.
To me, like, I like that, Wolverine is trying to, help out. And he senses something's off.
Right.
I think this is kind of the first time in this series where we're kind of going, okay, something's wrong here. Like, we knew something was wrong from the get-go, but one of the characters finally started to realize, like, oh, something's wrong.
Right.
And I think that's where I'm like, it took a little too long in the comic for me to get to that point. I think I wanted like, let's get into this a little bit more because we all know it's not right. Like, we don't need to delay this for 100 pages. And it wasn't 100 pages, but it was like 50 pages.
It's a lot of, we're only about halfway through the slide.
And we're now just getting to it.
Bobby, great music quote. I appreciate you, sir. Justin, thoughts here on Snowbird, on Wolverine, on the hunt for her, on what's going on?
So just want to comment on so the whole thing with Wolverine, it's Anodyne who like visits him right while he's sleeping.
Yes, heals him up.
Heals him. Yeah, like was that just her going and thinking that she's doing a favor for
she
him?
Wants to go around and make everybody the best versions of themselves. Yeah. Ultimately, when we learn later is that Loki gave her all this power,
right,
and a desire to fix mankind. But
I wonder, is Wolverine...
she's not doing good. She's doing what she thinks is good.
Right. But was he just sleeping and she went over and did that to him? Right. That's kind of okay. So it wasn't
ask for
it's not creepy at all. Like, no, it's natural.
I was like, wow. Like, and is this again? This goes back. We had this issue in the last issue where it is impossible to sneak up on Wolverine even when he's sleeping. So this I don't buy because him just sleeping and her coming over and healing the crap out of him.
But she's got Loki's godlike powers. Maybe she can just but
Wolverine
keep him asleep.
I don't buy it.
Me too. I agree with Justin. I was like, no, this doesn't ring true.
No one sneaks up on Wolverine. And then the other thing was, it's so. This is what I like about the whole series, as just generally speaking, is that you get these characters who are being quote unquote healed, and it goes into just falling into societal thoughts. Like everything that happens is like what the norm is, throughout all this. And it's like you wouldn't. None of these characters would think or really think that their powers are a negative or whatever. Like it's been talked about, but over time they've all been strong enough to appreciate where they are and what they've come to because of the challenges they've faced through everything else. And so this is what I like overall with it, and I find it interesting that it even touched on something like Wolverine, who in this case it's his berserker rage, being his cure or whatever. But even that helps him later, or normally would have helped him, right? I think they even pointed that out in one point where he was can't you sniff it out? And he didn't have the next page. She's Kitty calls him out. She's like, your animal instinct, your instincts, your wild, what'd she say? Your animal side of your nature. She said, you don't have that anymore. So just as a reminder that even that is important and makes you who you are.
Exactly.
A good message all packed in a large message. Anyways, the rest go on, John. I know we have a lot.
Yeah. We jump back to the party. Everybody's got new clothes. Rogue's wearing shoulderless, sleeveless outfit. So she's really getting into this thing. She can touch
people now.
Yeah. And she's going straight for the gay guy. Hey, let's hook up. Let's laugh. Let's dance. Everything's going great there. Meanwhile, Xavier's still not quite sure what's going on. He can definitely see now Shaman isn't doing well. There's definitely some strangeness happening. And several of the characters from the plane who are on the original flight, they're acting like it's no big deal. Like this is just the price to pay for admission. Like, this is acceptable. And you've got Loki sitting in his chair in his throne thinking, like, how ungrateful are these people that I've fixed the world and they don't like it? Like, they're so ungrateful for what I've done for them. And as these characters get to know one another, Alpha Flight and X-Men, there's definitely some friendships growing, but not necessarily what Rogue wants from North Star. And Wolverine's not having any of it because he rolls back in and he's throwing people on the table. He's like, look, these people are bad. This is not working out. I don't like you. I'll call them tailies. I don't like the tailies. These people who joined the X-Men, these are not not what they say they are. This island is not good. My girl Snowbird, she's dying. She looks awful, and Shaman's not doing well. This whole thing is shenanigans. I'm getting more Lost vibes the more I talk about about this with Greg. I don't know what's going on.
It's what I do, and I just love my people in the chat that I've derailed the chat. So
he says it's February 83.
Yeah, but Chet, who's an X-Men aficionado, says differently. So we got some hot takes here, gang. Like, but I love that Candace agrees with me that Figment is Lockheed. So I found my people.
Can I? John, yes, jump in, dive in.
Do you have? This is where I get nitpicky, but I don't know why I got hung up on this. Do you have any ability to zoom in on one of your panels you're showing?
I can't quite. No. What do you need? Which one are you talking about?
Here, can you make me big?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
This. Why the heck is Wolverine's hair blonde?
It's the guy he's carrying.
It's not. Look at the position of the body. I've stared at this panel way longer than I should. That's not the body of the blonde hair guy because I thought this.
But it doesn't point up either. It doesn't have.
No, that's the guy's butt. Like that's his back. You could see it when he throws him on the table. It wraps to the front of him. Go down to the bottom left. You could the way the guy's
fur that he's wearing. It's the fur that he's wearing.
Oh. It's just the back of it. It just happens to be around his head. It's
it's the fur.
Very accurate.
Yeah,
it would be very accurate because
but the fur is but the fur is white on this one.
So you have like discolored inks or something on your internet there, but this is
okay. Pull up your Omni then.
It's just white. It's white in the omnibus.
It's not yellow on the Omni.
No,
it's yellow because it's yellow.
You got the knock.
Yeah, it's white and white on mine.
You got
the yellow on mine. I got so hung up on
We're
that.
arguing about this guy's loincloth. I just want you to know that's what this shows.
You got interneted.
I know I got Marvel Unlimited, so that's Marvel's fault. Like they don't care about that.
That's why you got to invest, man, in these nice omnis. You know,
Shi'ar internet. There it is. It's the Shi'ar internet
so
again.
I know you think I'm joking, but I literally spent.
I don't think you're joking.
Looking at that,
I know this is real.
Like, why do they like? How did that get missed in editorial? Like the coloring of the dude's hair, like. These are things I think about, and that sometimes I catch and I'm like, this makes no sense. Again, I still don't know who these other characters are. I didn't know the guy in the red hood was the guy from the plane still, and so it lost a lot of impact when things happen more because I'm like, I don't know who these people are still.
Why do I care?
Right.
Justin, how are you doing? Are you keeping up with the shenanigans now that Wolverine's like on to the truth here a little bit? He's seeing connections between Shaman, Snowbird, and all these new powers.
Yeah. I mean, definitely happy that he's starting to catch on, and I mean, we're starting to see the divide in the team here now too, as we get into these next few pages. Just to those who see what's going on versus who don't, and also not only that, but like the weighing of like, is it worth it or not?
Right.
To have a few sacrifices,
which I think is the most interesting part. Right.
Totally. Yeah. The concept of this whole thing is what it definitely gets me there. So
for sure.
But I know that's kind of going into these next couple. So
no, let's do it. Because they start debating and arguing about like, is it worth it? Like Wolverine's like, screw you, you're taller. Like, I don't care. Like, it's not worth it. Like what we're seeing is our friends dying, and some of them are like, no, it's like worth it. Like these are characters that we don't need. Like nobody knows the name of this character. Like why can't they die? They're debating and drawing lines in the sand about how they feel about this, and the divisions are across both teams. Everybody caring about, hey, no, I feel better now that I'm not dealing with the burden of, schizophrenia or whatever. Like this place has made me better. And yet other ones very much connected to what's going on to Snowbird and Shaman and not feeling that that's an acceptable trade. And of course, this leads to now the teams are fighting again. Good guys versus good guys. Debate is happening. And in the midst of all of this, they're realizing, no, what we need is Talisman. She can get to the center of this thing and shut it all down. So the rush is to get her to where she needs to go amidst all the fighting here. It's kind of like they got to plug the light in the island back in so that the power can be back to what it was before. Sorry.
John, can you go back a slide?
Yes, absolutely.
I didn't realize it till this show, but what I love is literally Puck gets to be tall. Wolverine, you don't get to be tall. No. You just get your anger issues dealt with. You're still going to be up to a guy's crotch. Like that's just right. We have the ability to make you taller, but we don't think that's what you really want. We think you want to be a happier person. So
I mean, I still am baffled by the Nightcrawler thing. Like, you don't think Nightcrawler would? I mean, he used to wear this tool to make himself look human.
That's
You don't think he would like to look more like the other people? You think he's happy staying?
I just like the powers that they give people that they don't give to the others, and the other X-Men are like, oh, cool, or like, thank goodness, like I'm not a jerk anymore. But I wish I was taller.
I'm glad that the hot young lady can kiss now. Justin, thoughts on this? This obviously schism happening between the two teams.
Yeah, I think this is like the part that really, wins me over. Just like this whole concept of, and this could just be applied to life. Like obviously, we talk about this whole thing's called the gift. Everybody's given what they think they want, and it really is just these like societal thoughts, that apply in real life of like what is supposed to be right or supposed to be regular or supposed to be normal or whatever. There's definitely a lot of that, a lot of lack of storm. But yeah, so I just like the concept, and it's interesting that there are these two sides that divide, and like you said, they're even amongst the teams themselves. Like you have some X-Men on both sides, you have Alpha Flight on both sides. So yeah, like just I don't know. It's just like a big debate, right? Ultimately, and they don't, instead of actually debating, they end up just fighting. But I like the general concept and where this whole thing went because of all this. So yeah, even though it's very confusing and a lot of names and all that stuff, but the action scenes are still great. I love Wolverine slicing up all these the branches that are coming up out of the ground for that one scene.
Am I there yet? No, I got to go further, right?
There. No, you just had it.
Sorry. Oh yeah. Fighting, flying down from above. Yeah.
Yeah. Fighting this other character who I don't remember who that is.
Who cares?
But
he's got crazy hair though.
And you still got Colossus with like the mink. Fur as he's running. So yeah, a lot of epic stuff going on.
I'm going to continue us along, but anybody can go back if they want.
Nope. Keep us going.
We're
good.
We got them trying to capture and restrain Talisman. We got everybody feeling their feelings very deeply. And Loki comes floating down. He's like, whoa, you guys are ruining my perfect world here that I set for you. Like, what is the deal? I gave you this power. I gave you these things, and you're not appreciating what I'm doing for you. Stop being whiny peasant human people. And there's an interesting debate here. And this is kind of what Justin was talking about, whereas like once they understand what they've been giving, the rules that are applied to it and the cost that it's going to be, even Cyclops is like, I like my tall mama, but like, this isn't worth it. And he blasts Loki right in the dome.
Yeah.
And then it's like a whole new round of fighting gets kicked off here. For me, this is the crux of the story where it kind of puts more weight. And I didn't know, Greg, how you were feeling when it got to this point when the gods were basically like laying it on the line of like, this is what you're getting. And the humans were like, not worth it.
Yeah. No, we did skip over to the sketchbook, Adam.
There's guys, we're at 1 hour and 44 minutes, Adam. I can't possibly put in every single page. This thing, we're never going to be done. We're never going to be done.
It was 100
too many pages. This thing,
it was 100 pages of just riveting content. So This is where that I do agree. Like, I know I've made a lot of jokes on the show, and like I'm confused, but like this is where like X-Men or like a good storytelling really does highlight, right? When you deal with like the whole like I give you something that you think you want, you get your wonderful life aspect of like the world would be better if I wasn't here. Like when a character thinks that they know better than what, or their life would be better if the A or B happened, I think that's always an interesting concept.
Absolutely.
And so like to kind of get this aspect.
I'm just joking with you, Adam. Sorry, man. I was just joking with you. Like I spent so many days trying to figure out how to make these two issues fit into one slide.
He literally made fun of Rachel on here because she was upset that she didn't exist in this timeline. So
don't worry, she's still gonna melt down a couple times in this issue too.
So don't worry. Like so, John has no heart. So
bye, Tony.
So this is really I feel like where it does thrive, the whole conflict of them standing up to Loki and trying to figure out like, no, we don't care about this, and that's. I wish there was. I wish it didn't take me. Where are we at now? I'm looking at my reader here.
I'm hoping like we're like
30. We're at page 30 here right now
of the second issue.
Second issue. So we're 80 pages into 100 pages.
Yeah.
There's a lot of setup to get to a part where I'm actually convinced, where I'm like, this is good.
That's
so
testament for you.
Not even good. I don't want to say good because that sounds like I'm knocking it, but like where I'm intrigued now because the crux of the conflict that their internal conflict they're dealing with. So, yeah.
Okay. It's mean and accurate, Candace, at the same time. Justin, thoughts here? We've got finally the true villain revealed and the mutants in Alpha Flight kind of teaming up together. Even Rogue jumping over. I'm going to try to absorb Loki's powers and just like going all out. It's kind of exciting.
Yeah, I mean, definitely some cool action sequences. I do like though where like Loki shows up and like everyone just like gets silenced and they just show like everyone's face as he's just like saying you're not grateful for the things I've given you and all this stuff. Like I like that it caught everybody's attention and then goes into the next page and that whole next set of like the ones right next to you. Yeah, kind of sum everything up as far as like Scott making some real good sense here, just talking about like if we do make everybody equal again, like how he says, how long is it before we resent? We get resented for that, having people with dreams versus those who don't have dreams. Like a lot, that's the other part of this, and I know we can't touch on all that, but like the creativity and Adam brought up the book from before. Like there's all this other stuff that you're giving up in order to have this. Like I think Jean Paul mentions it in the middle, like where he's just like, yeah, like I've always known, like in order to get something great, you got to give up something great, and that's this whole book. Is understanding that nothing good like can just come free like that, or a miracle type of deal per se. And I like that Cyclops really like yells. He's like his fingers in his face. He's like, you don't just force people to accept gifts, and he's like, he's really, and then he blasts him in the face, which is great. Loki having to go through that. And then we get all the giants, which I guess this was where we kind of tie in more of the cover that we were, the wraparound that we were talking about.
For sure.
They're really just Loki's thugs,
Yeah, his frost giants, right?
Yeah.
But there's no frost.
I know they're not like in the movie. So now the battle is like waging, and the people are arguing and debating what this all means. And the core of it seems to be Madeline, who's like realizing, wait, like people are gonna die so that I can keep this power. Like I don't like this plan at all. And then of course Loki then has to step up and try to take it back from her and casts her to the ground. And she's realizing like, this is not the beautiful dream I wanted it to be, which forces her to then start wanting to take it all back and start turning things back to the way it used to be. And just as this is riling Loki up, we who sit above all in shadow, like, good Lord, fix your names. It's the worst name. And there's like 7 of them. They come back and basically tell Loki, like, you suck at this. You suck at this. Pretty much. We're not going to hook you up with your power. We're not going to do this for you. We're not going to make it work for you because you weren't listening to those people you were caring for, and you've made this all worse. You suck. And I can go, I guess, one further. They take away everything. Everything goes back to the way it was. The gods revert things back to how it were. We realize that the magic that is inherent to Shaman and Snowbird is what was killing them, because this place was not allowing them access to that. It was basically slowly wiping them away. There's a lot going on here. I'm going to give Justin actually a shot, because Justin's it seems like he's got a lot to say about some of this. And Greg seems like he's falling asleep. Justin, thoughts here on what happens to Loki, what everybody chooses from this event?
Yeah, like I like that it reverts back the way it does, with Madeline Pryor first, like, going through this whole thought process of understanding what it is that's being given up for her powers, the transform back to what she goes through to get back everybody. Like at this point, like half the people are dead, it seems like, or not, or
dying,
through this battle. And then everything gets interrupted by we
live above all in shadow and time and space and dimension.
But they're basically call him out as Loki's like, it fits what Loki is like. He's just not good at things. And so I just think that this is very accurate for like them to just kind of come down on him. Again, like now I'm putting it all together and realizing that it's just a little side story for Loki, like toying with, the world.
Right.
But initially when I was getting into this, I thought it was going to be something much bigger. I thought Thor was going to be involved. I thought, the Asgardians were going to come into play and all this other, which again, like I'm kind of happy it wasn't that, because I feel like that would have just taken so much more.
Because we got 30 other characters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's definitely a lot, but I do like how this wraps up here.
And Greg, they give looks like Puck gets a cauliflower ear back when they revert.
That's too. Gang, this is good YouTubing. I just want to let you all know, like, we're doing callbacks to the random questions. Cauliflower ear is something you get from wrestling. If you didn't know that, that's what John's referencing. This is how we synergize the whole episode. It's scripted. You're getting the best of the best when you get quality YouTubers right here. That's what John and Justin bring to the show, and I appreciate that. Can you go back 2 slides?
Absolutely.
One more. Can we just talk about that's a lot of nope back.
Wait, which way? Further?
No, nope. Right there. Stop.
Sorry.
That's a lot of yellow.
Yeah, it is.
That's all I was thinking reading this. I'm like, there's so much yellow going on here. That's a lot of yellow.
People are getting nauseous. Sorry.
Nobody wants this much yellow. It's a good wrap up, right? Like this again, we're getting to the point where they're trying to figure out like, oh, we're special, we're good who we are as people. We don't need these gifts, that Loki has given us. And that's where it's really trying to, it's finding. Can you take comments down while I'm talking?
No, I'm going to cover you up.
Blocking my face. Like
I thought you said we were good YouTubers.
I take back what I said about professional YouTubers. Like I'm talking and you're blocking my face. The people want to see the face. So, but that is right. Like that's a classic of like they're understanding that like what they think they want, they don't need, and where Loki's like, I'll give you everything you want, but that's not really what they want. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate that aspect of the story. I still didn't know who anybody was that they got their stuff back. I do think some of the gifts that they got were a little shortchanged. That's a shot at you, Logan. Shortchanged. If you missed that, but
yeah.
So I did like how it wrapped up. And I still want that Puck Nightcrawler spinoff, gang.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, so let's finish it out here. Last page. Everybody coming back together. They've learned a little something. But as typical with the Summers clan, there's always got to be a couple more dramatic moments. Rachel has run off, and as a result, Scott's got to run off, and as a result, Madeline tries to run off but is told to wait. Scott chases Rachel deep down inside the caverns of this place, and she's still in her jazzercise outfit, sort of ruminating on what this all has meant to her. She doesn't want to tell her dad the truth yet. She doesn't feel like she's ready, but she does wish that they could have a relationship because she never really did know him well enough. And in the end, she keeps it a secret, and he thinks of her just as another student at the school, and they walk back to the plane. And in the rubble of the city, there's this rose growing up, and I had to include, just for my guy Bearded, a little kiss from the rose. Down there, there's Seal in the corner. Little Batman Forever music video goodness. But that's how it all wraps up. I'd be curious, Greg, for your feelings on the ending. How did this all come together here at the end for you?
I'll be honest, as much as I am,
as you should.
I've been knocking you on the whole Rachel hate.
Yeah,
I've been a Rachel fan here. I feel like this is a little unearned. I'm looking at my rear here. You know, they have their moments where they're talking in their head, and like she's like, "Oh, I feel like I'm not going to tell him," and oh, well, they say it out loud, like, you know, when they made my folks, they broke the mold, and he's like, "Funny, I was thinking the same about you." There's no connection between Rachel and Cyclops or interaction where I feel like that is an earned statement for him to be like, "Oh, I feel the same about you." Other than the fact that we're getting this, like, we all know it's his daughter. They don't know this. That, to me, I wish I don't like that ending because it feels unearned. Because what did their interactions do to deserve where he goes, "Oh, I feel that exact same way about you"? It felt forced, and it did not give me the emotional pull that they want you to have. It was unearned, in my opinion. So
there you go. That's fair.
Yeah.
Justin, your thoughts here at the end with the Summers clan and how the whole spell ends, and the kiss from a rose that seems to be hinting at possibly more from all of this.
Yeah, like I think to your point, Greg, I agree. Like there wasn't enough time between the two of them with all the craziness that had happened. Like if the issue was more focused around the two, or at least or if they had like a more scene together,
give them a scene together at all where they interact.
Right. Yeah, there was really nothing. So yeah, like I see like where they're trying to just make it all fluff and fairy tale kind of happy ending, you know, the best they could. But I do agree there wasn't. I feel like there wasn't enough there to say that it was earned in that regard. Other than that, what else was there? Just no, I think that was it.
It's all the goodbyes basically at this point.
Yeah,
the flower and the rose.
Oh yeah, so you're saying that the rose just hinting to that this might be
that there's still some magic there, some power there, something that is unresolved.
Right, a rose, kind of like Beauty and the Beast, kind of like a court of thorns.
Now we're back, full circle, full circle. Kind of like Star Wars. Luke only knew Ben for what, an hour and a half.
I'll argue that a little bit more.
Yeah,
but we think they knew each other more than that.
It wasn't terribly long between like meeting on Tatooine and then Ben dying, right? It wasn't that
right,
long.
But it was longer than an hour and a half.
Subtle. Okay. But now we're at the wrap-up portion where we're going to give our final thoughts, a grade on a CGC scale, how we would rate this. And Justin, I'm sorry to do it to you, but you got to kick this sucker off.
Let's dive in. Yeah, so I mean, as a whole, I really, and again, I think this is a book that, one, it helps, as silly as it sounds, it helps to know the characters, right? Obviously.
Oh, well, yeah, sure.
You know, and I think that as I had gone through this now for the third time, and again, just kind of getting an understanding more and more of like just who they are, the names, the powers that some of them have. Again, like Alpha Flight, I'm still questioning like what exactly some of them can do, what they're capable of, what issues they're dealing with. I know some of you in the chat had mentioned like John Byrne had really stirred the pot with them dealing with their own issues throughout some of this, which intrigues me more to read some more Alpha Flight. I'd be curious because I feel like I would like these characters as a whole, but I don't think this is in any way a jumping on point for anybody, or for even Greg.
Thanks, gang.
Or even like Greg's situation
brought to my attention before I signed up for this show.
So I totally feel you, Greg. There, just like, but with all that said, the messaging that's involved with it, what it speaks to, just as a whole, even in real life, and how we compare things to what society expects, and the idea of getting some special gift or not realizing that something is required in return, or that there's a payoff in return that you might not be willing to sacrifice or pay. I think there's just a lot of great messages involved, and even again reading through this again, I think it all actually, as much as it seems like it's a lot jammed in, I actually think it flows pretty well overall with the messaging that they're trying to get to. I was good with it. I like the struggle between the teams. I like that there's a team battle, a team on team battle. And then I like later that the teams are divided for a heavier reason, and a debate that goes on, and then fight again for that reason. And then of course, we get the one at the end with the Giants and all that stuff. But I'm a fan of this series as a whole. If we're grading these two like together, I'm going to put it up there. And maybe too the artwork coming off of JRJR and some of the other stuff that we did recently, it's way an upgrade. So I'm going with like a 9.092 ish, because I really liked the messaging and all this. Again, as I read it more, first time through, completely lost, like not sure of anything, questioning why we're reading this, like all that stuff. But as I got through it again and again and again, and getting more of an understanding of these characters, it's got me I'm intrigued with with Alpha Flight. I want to read through more of some of that. Oh, Bobby's with me. There we go. So that's where I stand with this.
Chet's giving it an 8.
Fantastic.
He says it was a typo. He gives it an 8. So there you go.
All right, there you go. That's pretty high, I think, for
Jackson Roy Kirk giving it the 8.5. Yeah. Adam giving it the 9.5, which is not a CG thing. That doesn't exist.
Nice.
You that's a Bobby grade. Bobby.
Yeah.
Bobby just makes up numbers. He just throws numbers in.
So that's Greg
already all right. Greg's quitting on himself. He's like, I got a migraine now.
Listen, there's a couple things I have to address real quick. First off, the Jackson, you keep mentioning it would be better if it was a 4-issue series. It was a 4-issue series, just lumped into 2 issues. It was 100 pages. It literally is a 4-issue series.
Oh my god, so good.
It doesn't help. It needs to be a 6-issue series, and I would not read it. Listen, the ending was good. To a degree, it doesn't stick the other ending.
Coming you up again. There you go.
Here's what you're gonna get. The art was good.
You haven't gone through the JRJR stuff we went through.
Listen, I'm not. I didn't go through it. I can tell you from other things, I am not a JRJR fan, so I get that.
Right.
Right off the bat. There was no Storm. There was no Gambit. There was a lot of people I don't know that I don't care about in this X-Men comic, on this X-Men show that we read about, that there was very few X-Men in. So for my experience on that, this is a PGX 4.5 off-white page. No, it's cream. It's cream pages.
Oof. You guys are hitting hard, and I love it. I'm right smack in the middle. And I swear, for me, like, there's a roller coaster here, because when I read it as a kid, I probably enjoyed it a lot more. When I first read it to make the slideshow, I was deep in the midst of Annual 8, and I was like, God damn it, we got another stupid fantasy side story. I want nothing to do with any of this crap. And when I was done with the slideshow and I was able to just read it and enjoy it, which was yesterday morning, I did enjoy it a ton. But this question I don't think has been asked enough tonight, which is, should you have to read it 3 times to get the enjoyment out of it? Should you have to know all this backstory for a 2-issue miniseries? Shouldn't they be able to make it accessible for anybody?
No,
and that's my biggest takeaway from it. That's what hurts the grade
John,
the most.
That's me telling you, listen, The Office is a great TV series. It finds its stride in season 2. Like, so if you can make it through, like, you shouldn't have to give precursors to say, if you've read it 3 times.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's and I'm saying that Office reference for John. That's not my take. That's John's take, but
it's a factual take. But keep it up.
You shouldn't have to be like, oh, the more I read it, it works for me, or the more I talk about it, it works.
Yeah, and I'm saying that's a flaw. I'm highlighting that as a flaw for me. Because I feel like it's as an issue 1 and issue 2, a solo miniseries, it should be more accessible than this, and it shouldn't be so dense. And as a result, some of the stuff that I like the most gets trod over by all this extra stuff that we don't need.
Because this
feels
isn't an
wasted.
annual, right? This wasn't an
But it
annual.
feels like a giant triple-sized annual.
But I will say this: annuals, I feel like, are more for the people that are invested in the series.
Yeah.
And so, but if this is a crossover event, if it's not an annual, it's more of a crossover. A crossover should be more tangible for the reader to hop in, because a crossover ideally is trying to draw in new readers.
Yeah,
so you shouldn't have to read it 3 times
to
get it. If it's an annual, I'm okay with that, because annuals, I'm a diehard comic reader, and I don't even enjoy annuals half the time, because but they're set up for us who have been invested in the series. I mean, you just had the Nightwing annual, which doesn't have Nightwing in it at all. It's just the pirate lady and her origin story. So if you're picking that up, you don't care about that. But maybe if you've invested in the series, you're caring about that. So that's where, as a crossover event, it needed to be more. If this was an annual, I'd give it a higher ranking, because it has a little bit,
because the expectation on it is different.
Correct.
That's what you're saying. I mean,
go ahead.
I was just going to wrap it up. What I was saying, for me, I'm going to score this a 7.5. Like I can get enjoyment out of it. I can see what it was trying to do. It doesn't stick the landing for me, and I struggle at certain areas. And as a result, the final product just doesn't hit as strong enough for me in a lot of ways.
That's fair.
And Bobby's got great points, because obviously the story does continue in the X-Men annual and the New Mutants annual that we will be reading when we get to volume 5 of this run. And yes, Storm gets a hammer. That's that cover of her all in silver, wielding Mjolnir and spinning it around.
Oh yeah, that's a cool cover.
That's part of the Asgardian War storyline.
Right. So yeah, to your guys' point, like, I think this is something that, and some people said it in the chat, like, if you knew all these characters, if you were very familiar with all of them, that you would just be hooked, or that this would just be that much better, because you already knew the backgrounds, you already knew. So I agree in that sense with what you guys are saying. Like, it's for a one-off random intro. I don't know anything about Alpha Flight, and I'm getting into this. It's not for you. Like, it's just not for that audience. But I do think, one, for me, who I kind of taken a little more time to get an understanding of who they were, and then again, for anybody who is has been reading all the Alpha Flight stuff, I could see it. I mean, I think this is a get familiarized with the characters, come back, reread this, and this thing's like, it's a really, really great read. I think is ultimately where I'm.
It's just not accessible, and for me, for new readers, it struggles to be as accessible. Yeah.
You're like right in the middle of something. So
yeah. Let's get into some fun facts here. The Summers family continues to be dysfunctional. Yeah, that's fair. The first appearance of TWSAIS. Right? There you go. Madeline Pryor becomes Anodyne, which is vital information that all of you really need to know. There were no 10s or 9/9s. There were 86 9/8s of issue 1, which is the first appearance of Silas. That goes for about $110 fair market value. There are 53 9/8s of issue 2, going for an $81 value. Anybody want to say anything about the facts, the numbers, the details here?
I could PGX for 4.5 pages.
Sorry, I cut that off. We cut that off.
Did you see Chet's comment about PGX? He almost had a heart attack.
He freaked.
Chet, do you want me to give it a CGC grade? I don't think you do, Chet.
I understand these being 9/8, people going after 9/8s for the sake of the wraparound cover. I could see that, but otherwise I would prefer this to just be raw for me.
Yeah.
Is this the first time they mentioned Baby Cable? Like, I feel like that should be a more of a hotter.
It's the first time they mentioned that she's pregnant. Yes. And then it's a son. Excuse me. And then it's a son.
So is that a cameo appearance of Baby Cable? Should this be a hotter
book? Not in it.
But the name mentions.
They don't mention the name,
but they mention it. That's like saying, listen. That's like saying, like,
listen. You sound like Jigs. Listen.
That's like saying, like, oh, we have a character that's going to appear here in a couple issues. It's a cameo. This is a cameo. First cameo appearance of Cable. You heard it here first.
Get that hype up.
Hype button shared. All right. I'm out of there. I'm done. Well, slideshow over. 2 hours and 9 minutes. I mean, I definitely dragged my feet a little bit there. But yeah, we've reached the point of the show where the 15 of you in the chat can start getting prize wheel entries. You've suffered long enough. You've survived to the end. We're going to ask 4 trivia questions of you. Trivia questions not about this. No, it's not over.
Oh, we got another half hour.
We got 4 trivia questions about last week's annual 8 discussion on Justin's channel. We're looking for 2 correct answers. You can copy and paste.
Can I comment? I didn't watch.
Cannot.
I didn't watch
because you've got to help, Bearded. You're going to give away raffle tickets to the answers you find most amusing.
But can I still guess?
But you can't win.
Okay, fine. Can I still guess though? Because I don't know these answers.
You can guess. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to kick it off. First question I've got is the last story had to do with Kitty Pryde telling a story. No, sorry, not Kitty Pryde telling a story. Ileana telling a story by the fire. And it's a fantasy sci-fi story. So she's basically telling a bedtime story using our characters as main characters in her story. Kitty Pryde has a spaceship. What's the spaceship called? What is the name of Kitty Pryde's spaceship? That's what I want to know. Yes. Yeah, it's Ileana's story. I'm sorry, I messed that up. I was thinking also about, because this is obviously a throwback to the issue where Kitty tells the story to little Ileana. So it rolls back and forth. Rolls back and forth. It's not the Super Pro. The correct answer, Candace has it. Whoa, it's the Chicago.
Yeah.
It's the Chicago. Candace is correct. And that means
what I
also
love, though, is Magic Lasso
Adam
literally doesn't care. Magic Lasso's like, I know I can get a vote from Greg because I mentioned.
Because here she goes. Yeah, we've got
audience.
Chet says it's called the Space Dragon. It is not. Kitty's prize ship is not called the Figment. Nope. Magic Lasso says it's called the Super Pro. It is the Chicago. You're right. It's called the. No, I have no idea. Wow. Okay.
Really?
Mark it. This is the first time that's ever happened.
Wow. Take a screenshot.
All right. So who is the winner, Greg? You giving it to Magic Lasso?
For the joke. Yeah, man. Yeah.
There it is. You get to give away 1 point. So you're giving it to Magic
Lasso. You
Lasso.
get a point. Yes.
Super Pro. Correct answer. Justin, first question from you, sir.
All right. My first question is what was Storm doing during Wolverine's storytelling around the fire? Beginning of the issue, Wolverine was set up around the campfire with everybody telling a story, and
Greg's going to answer.
Storm was up to something. What was Storm doing during this time when Wolverine
definitely not showing up in this comic? Disappointing, Greg.
Yeah.
I've never seen someone as upset as I get that Storm's not in the book.
Right?
I've never seen that happen.
Like it was a come on, gang.
I'm just never. It's never happened. Never happened.
This is going to be the one downside, John, when we get into New Mutants. How often are we going to see Storm?
Definitely not. But we have other ladies that can potentially be just. Not just.
Wait, you guys are doing New Mutants next?
New Mutants, Volume 1,
next season. Yeah.
Greg's breathing deeply. She was brooding. I guess this is spelled correctly. She was gathering firewood.
Let me double check here. Yeah.
Right. I don't know about this answer. But we'll give it to Old Wolf. I'm assuming.
Did Tony just figure out a way to get both points?
He might have the comedic answer and the correct answer.
Potentially in one shot.
He's playing 3D chess.
No, my answer is the comedic answer.
It's pretty good.
Let's see. Greg says playing basketball with Benjamin Bratt. Oh man, another Catwoman joke. Holy crap. The heck out of here.
By the way, you know there's a comic book adaptation of that movie?
Of course there is. Having a brew.
I'm going to buy it and I'm going to send it to you, John.
Fajitas is always good and funny. She was not listening. I mean, that's true as well.
That is true. Yeah.
I'm going to skip Old Wolf's second answer. Jesus. Going right over it, giving a little leg and then taking it back. She's searching for Greg's beard. Ooh. Adding gel to the mohawk. Looking at her cell phone. Avoiding the artwork in that annual. Washing her hair.
Ryan is scarred.
Looking at a photograph of Rogue. Hey, Chad's here. I just got here. Didn't hear any part of the question, but my answer is still the Space Needle. She was doing the Space Needle. She was skipping that boring issue. Okay, Greg, do you have a favorite in there anywhere?
Oh, 100%. I'm going to give it to Candace for adding gel to her mohawk.
There it is. Candace.
On the board.
All right. Final question for me.
Mohawk Storm.
I gotta get that one.
We mentioned a couple of things involving Nightcrawler in the last issue where he was at a soiree that were things that were a little unusual about Nightcrawler. I got 3 different ones you could potentially mention, but can you name one thing about Nightcrawler and his and what was going on with him at this event, at the palace? Like, what was one thing unusual about Nightcrawler? Dear Lord, bearded. He's in Catholic guilt. That's unusual. It's Catholic guilt. We've already got 2 correct answers. The hat is definitely high on the list. I know that.
Wait, was he wearing a skipper hat in this one too?
No, this was like a pirate with like the big
What is
feather.
it? Why does Nightcrawler wear different hats?
He's got style. That amazing hat, JP. Yes, that is correct. I would have also accepted he was dancing and he was with 3 different ladies. He had 3 different ladies who he saw dancing.
That's right.
All acceptable, but everybody likes the hat. He was a dancing stud, also would have been acceptable. Lots of girls, all the girls. He had 5 fingers. Sure enough. Boogies is better than Nightcrawler. I don't know what that means. I don't know who Boogies is, but
I don't either, but don't.
He used his tail to tickle their fancy. Hey-oh. He dressed himself in drag. Snazzy sandals. He bamfed in a pine scent instead.
That would be impressive.
It was the one lady he could change. It was the one lady, but she could change appearances. Oh, so yeah, it was Mystique. He was dancing with his mom. He'd taken 3 girls back to each of their rooms at a time. Bamf them away. All right, did you have a favorite in there, Bearded?
Wait, does he really dance with his mom Mystique in this and bamf him into a solo?
No, he danced with 3 different ladies. It seems like he's just having a good time dancing with
Okay, I just want to make sure. Like,
no, he's a Catholic through and through. He's being true to Amanda.
That's right.
Who's Amanda?
Let's not go down that.
another made up character. Is Amanda part of Alpha Flight that I don't know about?
Oh my God. Come on, Amanda Sefton. You know
who? I don't know this. All right. Who made me laugh? Let's go with Chet, dancing stud.
There it is. Chet High Night. All right, last question, Justin.
Yep, last question for me. What movie memes did I feature when Storm and the team flew into the black hole? Last episode, last issue. They had to fly in space into a black hole. When they finally decided to do so, I showed a couple of memes from a certain movie. What movie was that I showed?
Okay, sorry, I was laughing with my mute button on. Top Gun. It's always Top Gun. It's always
the solid guess. Solid.
Top Gun. The correct answer.
Top Gun.
I mean, all of them are accepted, but Maverick is usually the choice. Ryan.
Yes,
and Candace,
and that is correct. Willy Wonka. Right. When they're going through the Mystic Chocolate River.
All right, gang, we have gotten all the real answers out of the way. Give me funny answers.
I'm not seeing a lot of funny answers. These are people trying to get the real answer. So, although Magic Lasso,
not funny. Give me a good answer, gang. Chat.
I'm knowing Justin. Yeah,
Chat. Magic Lasso might have been the on the wheel. If you give me a funny answer,
Mahogany with Diana Ross and Billy D. Williams. The Ring. No, wait. The Dark Circle. So far, Bearded Comic Bro is not impressed.
No, don't even JP trying that. Don't even try that.
I can't believe he's still awake.
Yeah,
I can't either because I got to do a show with JP tomorrow and I haven't even prepped for it. Good
Natalie needs a nightie.
Colossus Collector, Marley and Me.
There it is.
Oh wow, little Owen Wilson. Wow.
All right, there you go, folks. That is it. We are done. 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Is this your longest episode?
I don't think so, actually.
Good golly, let's keep going then. I want the record.
As a reminder, folks.
I think it is.
As a reminder, folks, we have one more story to read from this omnibus. It's over on Justin's channel next week with Sove Collector. We're doing Marvel Fanfare issue 40. Way outside the box on this one.
Oh, yes.
Way outside the box.
We're jumping many issues ahead from
yes.
Marvel.
Speaking of Sove sent me this comic.
That's true. It's not for kids. We also will be looking at some of the extended materials in the omnibus to give you a taste of kind of the cool things that they added at the end of the omnibus. And then a chance to answer trivia about this show tonight. About questions, we're gonna have questions based on this.
Can I answer?
Yes,
week
you got to be
about
there in
shows?
the chat at the end of the show to answer the questions. That's what Colossus Collector was doing tonight. He was here stumping to get those points because we're down to the last few opportunities to get on the wheel. Next week,
I'm not on the wheel yet.
No, you're not. Next week on Justin's channel, we'll do questions about this episode, and then on the giveaway night, we'll ask questions about the final episode that we're on Justin's channel. So these are the last few chances for you to get on the wheel, and we got a ton of prizes. Like I said, we have pieces of original art. Our guy Thony Silas, sponsored artist for this season, we've bought a commission from him, and you can choose what he draws. You can get this one-of-one original piece of original art from him. We're giving away slabs, mystery boxes. Justin's giving away all of his collection. Like lots of things are being given away.
This is answer.
Name every character featured in these two issues. Nobody wins it. Yeah, a hat. You can win. You can win clothing like Nightcrawler. Look good at your next gathering. So please be there on Justin's channel next week. I want to thank Greg for doing this, Greg. It's never easy. We're putting. If somebody invited me to do Justice League International, I would laugh in their face and just walk away. It's not.
Listen, this was fun. I don't care. I will read comics. I love comics. So
we made you read comics, right? What's the worst thing that can happen?
Yeah.
This. I will also want to mention Greg does great creator interviews, and I'm a big Kelly Thompson fan, and the interview he did with her about a week and a half ago, so freaking phenomenal. And if you at all are enjoying like Birds of Prey or the the Black Widow storyline that she did a couple years back, amazing to hear her talk. And she's got great comments on the pieces that she's making and the characters, how she uses Big Barda. I could have geeked on her talking about Big Barda for an hour. It was amazing.
I wanted to. I really wanted to.
So good. He also did an interview with Patton Oswalt just this last week. You got to get over there and check that out. I'm behind on that, so I've got to watch it, and I'm going to leave my comment here soon so you'll know when I did it. But Greg, great stuff, and thank you for coming.
Yeah, man. We appreciate you.
Is there something coming up you want to hype? Anything you want to let
you guys
know?
You want to know who my next two career interviews are?
I do.
This will be the first time you see it. So tomorrow night, I'm dropping an interview with Jordan Thomas, who is the writer of Emmy-nominated comic The Bubble.
Oh, sweet.
And he does a lot of podcasts, is on some stuff in Hollywood. It's cool. And then the following week, one of my favorite series, Darcy Van Polgeest, is back on the show.
Ooh,
Little Bird,
nice.
June 5th, Precious Metal, a story that takes place 30 years before this. We talk all about that. He's back on the show.
Yes.
And if you haven't checked out Precious Metal, you haven't because it comes out in 2 weeks, but I did, and it's fantastic. It's great. It's so good.
A worthy sequel, or as it were, a prequel.
It's not. It's set. It takes a character from Lil Bird, and it's 30 years before that.
Yeah.
But Darcy doesn't like to call it a prequel because it's a separate story. It doesn't set up Lil Bird. It just tells another story earlier in. So
there it is.
It's a lot of fun. Check it out.
Awesome.
And I've got like 2 months of guests that I can't spoil yet, but there's a lot coming.
That's cool.
Awesome. Very cool.
So yes, make sure you've hit all those links for Greg and hit all those links for Justin. And we'll be back here next week on Justin's channel from Marvel Fanfare 40. Thanks so much, gang, and peace.